Do you hear that?
The sound of silence?
Yeah, the peace, the quiet. Can you hear it, man?
The overwhelming calm that is coming over
Overwhelming calm that's coming over us. So about 5:30 this morning, get a message from Brittany that Go-Go's been up all night pissing and moaning, which is usually Brittany's job.
Yeah.
But apparently, yeah, you've been up all night with a little baby, a year and a half. Go-Go's like a year and a half now, isn't she?
A little over, I think about 14 months.
14 months,
Yep.
okay, there you go. So not quite a year and a half yet. Mm-hmm. But, yeah, so Brittany will not be in today, and I was thinking, well, I'm sure they've set up a backup, but of course they haven't. Why would they? So we're going to have to take care of that when time comes to. Mm-hmm. It's just going to be kind of nice, a moment's peace,
Yeah. Yeah, enjoy it while we can.
See?
Because come tomorrow, it'll be right back to super loud conversations in the morning that you have to force her to have.
What I love about her most is when I say anything, and she doesn't do it as much as she did at the beginning. Anything I said, she'd go, why do you even believe that? I'm like, oh, Jesus. It's been agony. That's all I'm telling you. Known her since she was like, I think 17, something like that. Mm-hmm. You know one thing I love that she's not here and I can bring up, and he's not here either? Have you ever seen Gelfand around her?
Yeah, he's like a little puppy dog.
Oh, for Christ's sake. Isn't it sad?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, Brittany. Oh, and then I look up and there's her picture up there. No,
Yeah.
it's you, but it was her picture. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so Brittany is not ill herself, but I think Go just had a rough night, so she won't be in today. We don't have a backup plan here, that's where I thought I was back in radio when we didn't have any plans to back things up or anything like that, but it'll work out in the end.
Yeah, it's called stunt casting. We decided
okay.
to cast nobody today.
Yeah, well,
to see how it goes.
Why would you?
Yeah.
And I already told Rudy I was thinking of waking my wife up and having her come in, but then I like being married to her, so I didn't.
Yeah. I have a very good relationship with Catherine, and I don't want that harbored, so thank you for not...
No, I understand.
for not doing that.
Thanks for not ruining it for me, Tom.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at some headlines. Yeah, Brittany will not be in today. Hopefully she'll get some sleep. That'll be a nice deal. Mm-hmm. And then I'll get to work and find a backup. Because you have AJ for your backup.
I do, yeah.
AJ's a great guy. Matter of fact, he's coming in for Andy today because Andy's got a doctor's appointment.
Oh.
So he's coming in for Andy today on the Family Podcast. So that's very, very cool. Actually, this is a good time because if Brittany were here, I'd never be able to finish a sentence without her screaming at me. But I just, after, what's it been now? Has it been, March, April, May, June? It's been 4 months already?
Since the show started?
Yeah, March, April, May,
Yeah,
June.
we started the last week of February. I think the 21st or 22nd was our first day.
Someone there.
So, yeah.
Someone there. So it's been 4 months. Just looking at some stats and all that stuff last night. You people are amazing supporting this show. Thank you so much because it's, we got a ways to go getting on different signals. We're going to be on AM and HD2 and all that good stuff. It'll be great. And I want to talk to outer markets and get all this other stuff cooking. But you guys have supported this show. It's unbelievable. So I wanted to thank you for that. It's doing really, really well. So we'll stay at it. But, yeah, tip of the cap. See, if I had said, I want to thank, I'd have gotten thank out, and I would have been, hey, thank who? Although I have noticed, and I brought this up to Brittany yesterday, as a matter of fact, because I've been listening to the market now in the morning, the afternoon, middays. Why do people talk so loud on the radio now? Almost everybody does.
Yeah. Maybe because we all have earbuds in and our hearing's going to crap.
Well, so you may be right about that. That might be it. I tune in the station, it's like, yeah, it's going to be a beautiful day today. Yeah, you don't have to tell me that loud. You got a microphone right in front of you. And they do this, too. They talk right into the microphone, right on the microphone. Yeah, let me just tell you something. It's like, settle down. You're not doing cattle calls. Calm down.
You know what else I've noticed with human vernacular? Maybe it's just because it's, for whatever reason, there's different times throughout history where we speak different ways. Have you noticed that everything is either wild or crazy or fantastic or insane? Everybody, that's how everyone ends sentences. They will say something like, I went to Target yesterday and the line was out the door. It was wild. It was crazy. I took a super cut of the old show I was on where I told everyone, hey, everybody says fantastic. All you guys do, everything is fantastic.
Yeah.
This movie was fantastic. This show is fantastic. And they didn't believe me. So one day I recorded the whole show and I made a supercut of how many times people said fantastic. And it was 63 times in a 3-hour show the word fantastic was brought up. And I said, numbers don't lie, guys. Can you please stop with the word fantastic? Because if everything is fantastic, then nothing is fantastic.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
And I don't deny that, I wouldn't argue that for 1 second because I hear it all the time. It's just, everybody's about this loud now, and God, it's just fantastic. I'm awake. You don't have to yell at me. I'm good. Calm down.
Yeah.
Everything's fine. Don't worry about it. And God is not fantastic because every time I look up at the screen now, I see
Brittany? Yeah.
And she's see?
Right there.
I said her name, and there she is,
You willed it, my friend. The universe speaks.
I've known that young lady since she was 17 years old. She was at KQRS. I think was she still in high school? Maybe.
I think she's talked about just coming out of high school when she got onto the show.
Yeah.
So probably about that same time.
Yeah, so it's very, very cool. But yeah, my whole family loves Brittany. See, I could never criticize Brittany around like Hubbard people or my family or anything because they adore her. I mean, I'm not saying I don't get me wrong. But the only thing I just go is I shake my head and go, yeah, well, you don't have to work her there. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, though.
Yeah, when you know people intimately in a different, we all have different vocabulary when it comes to hanging out with our grandparents. We're different people around different people. And yeah, you're right. When you have to work with somebody and then somebody goes, when you have those people in your life and someone goes, I just love that guy. He's just so great to be around. And you go, that guy's a huge pain in the ass to be around. I don't know what you see.
Because there's different levels of ass kissing. Mm-hmm. And I will tell you, and I love Minnesota, born here, raised here. I love living here. And I've told you, half the people in the state are the best people I've ever met. And the other half are the biggest pricks I've ever met in my life. It's just a fact.
Yeah.
There's no center in Minnesota as far as that's concerned. People are either very nice or backstabbing, lying pieces of shit. Mm-hmm. That's just a fact.
Yep.
But, you hear these things and it's like, settle down for Christ's sake. Everything is, I don't know. A lot of backstabbing going on.
We got a message from Carlos who said, okay, Brittany, it's wild.
Thank you, Carlos. Thank you.
Yeah, I told her that. I said, I'm starting to hang out with you too much because I think I was in Vegas and I said somebody goes, oh yeah, they got a late night happy hour. It's 2-for-1 beers that start at 11. I went, that's wild. What? Oh my goodness. Oh, I'm hanging out with her far too much.
Yeah, you got to stop. Yeah, she does say wild a lot, doesn't she?
Yeah.
Wild.
Yeah. So.
Settle down, sister. But, yeah, so now that's another job I have now working with the Hubbards because I'll have to go out and find backups. Well, you got AJ, so that's good. AJ does a great job. He's coming in, I think I already mentioned, for Andy later on today because Andy has a doctor's appointment. But, yeah, I'll have to track down a backup for Brittany because with a little baby, she's going to be missing days.
Sure.
It's going to happen.
Yeah, it happens. Yep.
So I don't know. I blame it all on Amy and Dan. It's their fault. There's no question about it.
Absolutely.
You see what I'm saying? Let's just blast the piss out of them the rest of the day.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. Looking at the headlines today, it's the same old stuff. Audio emerges with new details of Trump's 2021 conversation about documents. Since it's just you and me.
Sure.
I don't understand how anybody could like either one of these guys, Trump or Biden.
Yeah.
They're both such obvious scam artists. It is unbelievable, but some people just love them. And if you do, it's your business. I'm not criticizing you for doing it. I'm just saying I could never support either one of these guys. They're both in it for the money. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's just so obvious, isn't it?
Absolutely. And when you have, when you're so committed to one thing and one person, when that person screws up, you have to go on and still back them. And that's the hardest thing. Listen, if you kind of don't know anything, you know everything. Just sort of be that person. Like Bruce Lee said, be water. Like just kind of flow between two things all the time. And yeah, it's awful when your guy screws up. When Anthony Weiner got busted sending out all those pics to those young ladies, and Jon Stewart was his best friend, and Jon Stewart had to go, I'm so sorry. I cannot befriend you anymore.
No.
And he took a stance, and I'm like, that's the correct way to do it. You're my friend, but you made a mistake, and I cannot forgive you for it, so we cannot hang out.
Yeah, I like Jon Stewart.
Oh, love that
He
guy.
used to come in the studio all the time when I was at KQ, like 25 years ago, something like that.
Like way before Daily Show, Jon Stewart? Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely. Really, really nice guy.
Brilliant. So smart.
Yeah, he's a very smart guy, a nice guy. We need more of that whole deal. But so yeah, we're just kind of looking at. Actually, we should just probably get rid of Brittany because we've proven already in 10 minutes we don't really need her on the show anyway. So you know what I'm saying.
Well, if anything, we have a cavalcade of drops of her just speaking, so we can just have her interject. Oh, dang it didn't fire. But I would say we could just have her interject every now and again, like, oh, come on.
This segment is brought to you by vaginas.
There we go. See what I mean?
Vaginas.
She just interjects every now and again, and we're good.
Well, see, that's good. Now, there's a balance in the universe here at Hubbard because on the way in, I heard the people over at My Talk talking about wieners all the way in. Mm-hmm. I think they were talking about hot dogs, but I'm not sure.
Oh.
Because they were talking about the taste of wieners. I'm like, you're working that really hard.
Yeah. No pun intended.
Yeah, no pun intended, exactly.
Are you a hot dog guy? You a brat guy?
I'm not a big fan of either one, actually.
Okay.
I mean, I'll eat them. I would rather have a hamburger than anything.
Yeah.
I'm a hamburger guy more than anything. I don't mind God, I haven't had a hot dog in years. We have brats at the house once in a while. I like them, but they're okay.
Yeah.
You know, what's in there? That's always been my question is, it's all ground up, so what's in there, actually?
Yeah. It's one of those things where you're like, I'd rather not know. You know? It's like
I
when
agree.
it's like when your wife goes to Vegas, you're like, what? Aren't you going to ask me what I did? No. Don't want to know.
Don't wanna know.
I love you, and that's fine. Yep.
I couldn't agree more. No question about it. So the big headlines today, that Trump is in trouble. What a shock. That is true. And then Biden's lying again, which is, boy, what a shock that is. And again, I like Republicans. I like Democrats. I like centrists. I like all the people. It's the people you choose. How can you not see what a bunch of scam artists these people are? Oh, my. And that's all. Go to D.C. The whole thing is just scam heaven.
Yep.
But there's millions and billions of dollars in it. Somebody told me that the Obamas are now billionaires. Is that true?
Oh, I would imagine so.
How is that allowed that a president could become a billionaire by selling 8 billion books?
I was going to say, I might be off on this, but didn't they give Michelle Obama like a $25 million advance on her book that somebody else basically wrote?
That's correct.
She just gave like the bullet points and was like, here you go, run with it. And they went, all right. And then she gets to slap her name on it, and then they give her $25 million for it.
And what's her favorite thing to say?
Oh, I don't know. Probably some sort of, ridiculous, be the light or something.
No, America sucks.
Oh, and yes, that's the other thing, too. The first time she's ever been proud to be an American, I know. Knock it off. What do you think you're doing?
She makes $25 million for doing nothing.
Yeah.
And somehow America sucks.
I know.
Okay, lady.
Yeah.
So look, it's not, like I said, it's not one side. It's not just because there's a Democrat in the White House now, Trump. And like I said, I've never met Biden. I've never even said hello to him or whatever. I've had lunch with Donald Trump when he was the president. He's a nice guy in person, but I can't follow him anywhere either. He's just way too involved. All of these people. And I tell you what, that Hunter Biden, I'd love to push him down. What a scumbag that man is.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah, when you get to read these stories about, these politicians' kids and what they get away with, if that was the private sector, these people would be thrown in prison.
They would be.
Yeah.
More self-driving cars are on Minnesota roads fueled by public funding. Well, that's great news. We're paying for a car that's going to run into us when it malfunctions.
Yeah.
That's great news. Self-driving. I don't even know if I'd be comfortable riding alone in a self-driving car.
I saw one in California just this past weekend.
Oh, you did? Okay.
And a friend of mine I was driving with said, don't ever get in those things.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So first off, the technology isn't quite there yet. And secondly, it follows every single traffic rule to a T. So when there is stopped traffic due to an accident, the vehicle will basically shut itself down and sit right in the middle of the road until somebody gives it the okay from remotely, and then it'll pull off to the side. He's like, they're not worth it.
Well, like I said, I owned one of the first Teslas in America, and I had to get rid of it because if it broke down on a freeway, you ain't going to move it.
No.
Because the wheels won't turn when the thing's not engaged.
Yeah.
So you literally had to put a new battery in it to move it over to the side of the road.
Sure.
So I think, okay, let's move. Now they're much better now.
Absolutely. Yeah.
They're much better now. And I love the car. That's one thing about this new Mustang that I have now. They had to call them back because apparently some people were driving up to 200 miles an hour.
Yeah.
It's a little quick, don't you think?
Yeah. That is the one thing about EV vehicles. It is instant torque.
Oh, yes, it
Yeah.
is. Yeah, I mean, well, on the way in this morning, I was in the right lane, going to exit over in that, was it Berry Street or Berry Road or whatever the hell
Oh,
it is
sure.
there?
Yeah.
And I was gonna exit, and there was a guy in front of me, and he was doing about 47. I went, oh, do I have enough room? And I went, oh, that's right, I'm driving this car. I got around him in about 0.002 seconds. Yeah. That's the one thing about those cars. But I don't know if I'd want a teenager driving that car. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You know, when you buy your kids like a big wheels, remember the kids had big wheels?
God,
like, yeah.
Love them.
There was two settings. There was like the young kid setting and then the older kid setting. And there's a reason why they kept because when you put it on that higher kid setting, that thing actually got cooking.
Oh, yeah.
It did pretty quick. Like, I think like 15 miles an hour or something you could get those things up to. So, yeah, you're right. When they have the ludicrous speed option on the Tesla, probably don't want your 16-year-old having that.
No. Going, I'm sorry, but even, I think my Mustang will still do like 170, something like that, or 165.
Crazy. Yeah.
I'm never going to know because I ain't going to drive it that fast.
Sure.
But
yeah.
I love the acceleration.
Yeah.
I don't know that I drive it in the winter, though, because that acceleration in the winter could be very dangerous.
Absolutely. Yep.
So we'll see what the deal is. So, yeah, your top headlines this morning. You got more self-driving cars, Minnesota employers sprint to rewrite marijuana policies. Now, let me ask you a question about that, because I take THC to sleep. And you had to get a prescription, then you had to go to special shops. Are all those special shops going to shut down now?
You mean like the medicinal shops?
Yeah.
You know, I guess I don't know because I wasn't really into it before it became recreational. And now that it's recreational, I do take some THC to go to bed. And it's
there you go.
It's life-changing.
It is.
I sleep so well on it. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not too sure about the medicinal.
Because if you can go down and just buy a bunch of gummies at Down in the Valley,
Yeah.
why wouldn't you do that instead of it? But look, I've been going to it now for several years, and they're great people. I go to the one out in Bloomington. Very, very nice people out there. Very helpful. I just don't. How does that balance out? I don't get it.
Yeah, maybe once you can actually buy like actual marijuana at one of these shops, they might be able to diversify like what they have for sale, and thus bringing more people in so they don't have to shut down. Because some of these places you go to, I've walked into a couple to like buy some gummies, and I'm like, oh, this is a head shop. This is just like a bunch of stoners hanging out who didn't want to get real jobs, who are hanging out. They opened up a shop that sold this stuff, and great. But then you walk into some, like out in Portland, it feels like you walk into the Apple store.
Oh, I bet.
It's super clean. Everything is marble. There's fluorescent lighting. It's almost like too much. Like I should be buying weed from a guy in a back alley behind a 7-Eleven. Yeah.
Well, that's how Florida is, too. Florida's THC shops are phenomenal.
Yeah, right.
They're really, really good. So we're getting there. It should have been done. And again, the alcohol industry set us back at least 60, 70 years. But that's what we do because they were making a lot of money and paying a lot of taxes. So let's just shut down THC because we make way too much money off alcohol.
Yeah.
It's always, always about the money, ladies and gentlemen. Every time.
And then once they figured out, if we tax the hell out of this, now we can start making a few dollars on it. So now weed is totally okay.
Oh, I'm looking up at Brittany. Brittany, since I'm looking right at you, 20 minutes without you and it was smooth as silk, sister.
I'm very hairy.
There she is, yelling at Uncle Tom. No, again, we've both... I believe when I first met... She says she was about 19, but I thought she was younger than that when I first met her. And again, I met her, I think Gelfand was staring at her. I think that's the first time. I just love that. Gelfand. They're really, really good friends.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's, I don't know if Brittany will be back tomorrow or not, I suppose.
I imagine she would.
Probably.
Yeah. Yep.
Probably true. I was thinking of, like I said, calling a couple of different people, and I was going to get Amy Daniels out of bed at 5:30 in the morning when I got the text message. That would have gone smoothly.
I would have loved to have been an ear, not talking, but listening to that conversation.
Because if you've never heard her voice, ladies and gentlemen, she kind of talks like my mother. She's got kind of like this kind of voice.
Yeah.
So, and I think the world of Amy. Don't tell her I said that. But I think the world of her. But I was thinking of calling her going, why don't you get your ass in here since you didn't put a replacement in there? This is on you, sister.
Sure.
Right? Mm-hmm. But then I couldn't do it.
No.
Damn it, I wanted to do it, but I just couldn't do it. Brittany, I'm sorry, but we got through the first 20 minutes just smooth as silk.
Absolutely.
You know, what are you going to do? I should probably do the weather because, well, it's pretty much the same every damn day in June. June's almost over, though. 27th of June today. Today, mostly sunny with a high near 86, a 40% chance of showers and thunderstorms after 1 o'clock in the morning, mostly cloudy with a low around 68. Oh, by the way, I won't say where it was, but I was watching the news this morning on television, and when the weather guy came on, and it wasn't Channel 5, it was a different channel. I won't even rat the guy out, but it wasn't Channel 5, I will say that. And he starts doing the weather, and he said, there could be some problems out west today, like in Wisconsin. What? What did you say?
Really?
Out west, like in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't realize that you'd have to go. So if I leave here and I head west, I would have to go all the way around the globe to get there, would I not?
Yeah, well, that's the shortcut, actually.
Yeah, there you go.
Funny.
So, yeah, sunny with a high near 86, a 40% chance of showers and thunderstorms after 1 o'clock tomorrow morning. Mostly cloudy with a low around 68. Then on Wednesday, a chance of showers and thunderstorms again. Then showers likely, possibly a thunderstorm after 2 p.m., a 40% chance of showers. Okay, that's enough. Apparently, it's going to rain, maybe. Actually, there's a chance of rain every day after today.
Yeah. I don't know if you've seen lawns lately, but boy, do they need it.
They really do.
Oh.
No, you're 100% right about that. They really need some rain. We need, and it's kind of weird because it seems to me it's been raining a lot, but maybe it hasn't.
Yeah.
I guess, but yeah, it's sunny and 62 now. Beautiful day coming up, sunny and 86 today, and then it'll come and go. You know, they all say it's going to be this, that, and the other thing. It'll come and go, but it looks like every day for the next 6 days after today, we're going to get some rain at least. 62 and sunny right now. We shall take a break here. We'll be right back in a couple. Look, again, let me just point out 22 minutes without you, Brittany. 22 minutes, just smooth as silk. Smooth as silk.
You know I hate fat people.
She's going to get nailed all morning, isn't she?
Of course.
She's catching it all morning long, which is how it should be. Why is it every time I look up there, her picture's up there?
You are right. Her picture is coming up an extraordinary amount of times, and it usually does not.
No,
Yeah,
it doesn't.
But today, for whatever reason.
I don't know. She's popping up, but we love you, Britt, and hopefully we'll see you tomorrow. We will be right back. Right now, MyPillow has a massive closeout sale happening on their all-season slippers. Listeners continually make the My Slippers the #1 selling MyPillow product. And I have a feeling you want to stock up now when you hear this offer. When you use my promo code TOM, you'll get the all-season slippers for $25, regularly $149.98. That is over $120 in savings. Limited to 10 pairs at checkout. These will sell out. Trust me, my slippers have an exclusive 4-layer design that you won't find in any other slipper. The patented layers make these slippers ultra comfortable, extremely durable. They help relieve stress on your feet, and you can wear them anytime, anywhere. By the way, I keep double clutching on that because it says you can wear them anytime. WHERE.
Oh, and yeah, where?
You can wear
You can wear.
them anytime.
Wherever you want to wear them, you can wear them.
Where?
Where?
Thank you.
Wear them where?
They also come in a ton of additional sizes and all new colors. Just go to MyPillow.com, click on the Radio Podcast square to grab a pair of all-season slippers for $25. Regularly priced at $149.98, limited to 10 pairs at checkout. Enter promo code TOM for this incredible offer. These will not last long, so please do order now.
When you need someone to listen, a lawyer you know and trust.
If you've never been in an auto accident, it's hard to know what to expect from the insurance adjuster. Here are some tips. 1, if they talk to you about whether or not you should hire a lawyer, it's a good sign that you probably should. 2, it's illegal for them to give you any legal advice. They aren't lawyers, and they aren't licensed to practice law. 3, if they tell you that everyone involved in the accident is at fault, they're wrong. This comes from the belief that you're at fault for just being on the road. That's nonsense and not supported by any law. Finally, remember that friendly adjusters are often just gaining information. They want you to do most of the talking so they can file their report. I'm Mike Bryant from Bradshaw & Bryant. I hope you're never injured in a collision. But if you are, don't sign anything until you've talked to us.
Find Bradshaw & Bryant, personal injury attorneys at minnesotapersonalinjury.com.
Seeking justice for the injured. Bradshaw and Bryant.
Why should your business bank with North American Banking Company? Here's Corey Wisco of the Welshire.
We're so grateful for their support and just the fact that they truly believe in what we do. They took the time to get to know us. They have faith in what we do, and it's just been a great partnership that's just always been based on success. They've always had our back every step of the way.
For more information about North American Banking Company, go to nabankco.com. That's nabankco.com. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
The new Tom Barnard Morning Show is proud to have partners like North American Banking Company, Bradshaw & Bryant, MyPillow, and attorney and advertiser Dave Bielke.
I've been advertising on Tom Barnard shows for years. I like Tom, not just because he's a good guy, but because the ads I run on his show bring me new clients that are hurt at work and need legal help. Tommy B works for me.
Grow results for your business by partnering with the Tom Barnard Morning Show. Visit tombarnardshow.com, keyword partner.
There's a guy named Tom Cross who likes to do kite things. Tom takes the phrase "go fly a kite" to an extreme, and for years goes all over the country in search of great kite flying events. Lincoln City, Oregon comes to mind, with Chinook winds and 7 miles of pristine beach that draws folks from all over North America for the best kite flying conditions in the world. Tom brings a little Minnesota with him when he goes to Lincoln City in his new 2109S Rockwood Mini Light travel trailer. The new lightweights from Rockwood are very popular. Tom hauls his trailer from Niemeyer Trailer Sales in Albertville and Elko New Market, Minnesota. Niemeyer Trailer Sales is the only place Tom would prepare his next kite flight. Solar panels, exterior griddle, air conditioning are just a few of the standard features in his Rockwood by Forest River, from the place that is your ultimate RV headquarters since 1965. This is Tom Barnard. Visit my friends at Niemeyer Trailer Sales and take your passion on the road. Niemeyer Trailer Sales. Go to NIEMEYERS.com. Niemeyer Trailer Sales. We are back, ladies and gentlemen. Brittany's not here today because Gogo had a rough night. I don't think Gogo's sick. She just was up and down all night.
Teething right now.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah, I was at her house the other day, and she had a couple of new teeth pop through, and boy, juicy baby time is... Oh, it's the worst.
A little screaming. Mm-hmm. Son of a... Did she do that?
That's what she said, yeah. It was mostly at Brittany, though. I was like, there you go, go.
See?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. She's already very, very smart at 14 months old. That's how life should be, ladies and gentlemen. Mm-hmm. So Brittany is out today because she was up all night with her baby because of teething, as pointed out by Rudy just now. So hopefully that'll settle in. And but Brittany, I'm looking at your picture again. Her picture's up there again.
Yeah, you're right.
So, Brittany, just go ahead and, you know what, just take July off. Just make sure the teeth all come in.
Yeah, totally. Why not?
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we talked about more self-driving cars on Minnesota roads fueled by public funding. There are a lot of really good stories, or I shouldn't say good stories, but interesting stories. This morning, Golden Valley has approved a new controversial apartment building, and I guess I'm looking at the picture of it. It's a very nice-looking apartment building. It's a rendering of it right now. A 303-unit building will replace a small clinic and a bank branch just off Highway 55. Golden Valley approves a controversial, and it's controversial. Why? Because it's got low-income housing in it. Is that why it's controversial?
Yeah, because I guess it's been so long since I've lived in any sort of condo or apartment setting. But yeah, there are laws that say you have to keep some sort of low rent, like a section of it, like 25% of your building has to be low rent, isn't it?
That's what I thought.
Yeah, it's something like that, and which is crazy because the people that actually afford these giant high rises and the condos, they have it built into some of these apartments where there are separate entrances.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah, you're not allowed to, if you live in certain apartments that are rent controlled and low rent, you are not allowed to mingle with the rich folk who are partying up on the top of the building.
Well, I don't know how rich they're going to be. Let me just put it that way. They probably do okay, but
sure.
Well, here, in the planned building on Golden Valley Road near the intersection of Wisconsin Drive, 46 of 303 apartments will be affordable for people earning 60% of the area median income, less than $75,000 a year for a family of 4. That would be pretty much everybody in the state. Because the average family income in the state of Minnesota is $73,382.
Sure.
So what are they trying to say?
Yeah.
That would be everybody then.
That's the average. That's the average family income.
Average family income, $73,382. So that if it's less than $75,000 a year, that'd be everybody, or $52,500 for a year for a single person. Now that's way higher, because the average individual income is $37,320.
Yeah.
So I don't know. God bless you. You can't. You get a little cut on your rent. Good for you. There were times when, after my dad was hauled off, when my mother had to go. It was called AFDC at the time. I think it was just called ADC, Aid for Dependent Children. But then, for some reason, ADC didn't work for them, so they put the F in there too. So it's AFDC. It was Aid for Dependent Children, I think is what it stood for.
Okay.
Back in the day. And that was emergency income. I don't think you could stay on that for very long. It was just emergency income for people who had no money. We know that in the state there's a great need for affordable housing, said Sherry Shoquist, Golden Valley's Housing and Economic Development Manager, to be economically diverse and provide housing. I love it. There's even diversity economically. You mean we don't make exactly the same amount of money? What?
I know.
It's just getting really over the top, isn't it?
Yes.
So God bless you. Hey, I want everybody to live in a nice house. This is America, after all. Doesn't seem like it some days, but...
They say that the amount of money you have to make every year it doesn't matter if you make the least amount of this or you make, upwards of billions of dollars, but like the happiness threshold comes at $75,000 a year.
Well, there you go.
And this was a report that came out, I don't know what it was, 2 years ago. And as I read that, I thought, I know so many people who make $75,000 a year, and they are the most miserable pieces of garbage I've ever met.
Yep.
There's no way this study can be true.
I would have to agree with you on that one. Yeah, and again, that's what we do in America, is help people out. I know America sucks. I mean, we were just talking about that a little earlier.
Yeah.
You sell a book for a $25 million upfront, and it's the first time you've ever been happy being an American. Well, good for you, sister. Really happy for you.
Yeah.
The building's affordable apartments will be priced at just less. Here's what I love. This is affordable housing now. $1,400 a month. $2,000 a month for a 3-bedroom. Is that really affordable?
Yeah.
That's 1/3 of your income.
Yeah, I know when you hear those prices, especially when I used to live in South Minneapolis off of 62nd and Nicollet in a place called Wyndham Gables.
I know where that is.
It was a 3-bedroom. Me and 2 other radio guys, we all lived together. Our rent was $9.99 a month. And we split it 3 ways.
Yeah,
Imagine what you would do with a rent that was $333. We lived like kings.
I know.
And now there's no way. No.
It's all extremely unaffordable.
Yeah.
2 G's for a 3-bedroom, so it's basically twice as much as you guys were paying.
Yeah.
And you split it 3 ways. So
yeah.
I don't know. Look, we want everybody to have a nice place to live and all the rest of it. Some of you should get off your ass, maybe. They never point that part out.
No.
There are people who need us, there's no question. Need our help, not us, but our help. But there are a lot of people, just lazy sons of bitches, that don't want to work.
Yeah.
So why do we give them money?
Yeah, they say 5 streams of income.
Yeah.
And some of it doesn't have to be a lot of income. Obviously you should have your main, but your 4 others, you should figure out a way to bring a couple of extra dollars in, Should I read a couple of comments before we bring Kristen on? Oh, please.
Because the comments, I haven't seen them yet. Mm-hmm. They might be, I don't know, we'll see. For a reference, $52,000 annual income is roughly $26 an hour, and the median, not mean, but the median rent in the Twin Cities is $14.95. The guidelines are for the area, though, so they're probably only comparing to Golden Valley. So they're saying Golden Valley's $500 more than everywhere else? I don't think so. I lived in Golden Valley for 15 years. I love Golden Valley. Great town. $2K a month is not exactly affordable. For a 3-bedroom, that's dirt cheap. 2 G's, is it really?
Yeah, I bet it would be average. It also kind of depends on where you go.
That's true.
You could probably get a 3-bedroom in New Hope for maybe $1,500 a month.
I love this one. We'll close with R. Dunlop. Affordable, $1,400 a month for a 1-bedroom. The mortgage on my 3-bedroom house is just over $1,000.
I know. It is funny when you, it's so ridiculous.
I love that.
I was in New York and I had an Airbnb and I asked this guy who owned the place, I said, just out of curiosity, how much does this apartment cost a month? And he goes, I got it for a steal. It's only $2,800 a month.
Oh, yeah.
For a 1-bedroom apartment? I was like, dude, I got 3 bedrooms, a lawn, 2-stall garage. I pay like $1,400 a month.
Honest to God.
Yeah.
What a world is all I have to say. Well, I don't know how we did it, but we somehow slogged through the 35 minutes without Brittany here to go with KB2. So we get a call this morning, not a call, but an email this morning at like 5:30, maybe 5:15, something like that, that Britt Bitt's baby Go-Go was awake all night, so she couldn't come in. And I said, well, that's no big deal. I'm sure the company set up a backup for her. Oh, no, we don't set up backups anymore. We don't. Does anybody run a business properly anymore? Is that even possible?
I don't know.
Yeah.
You don't know?
That's a good question.
But, I mean, how do you not? Because Rudy has a backup. And,
Why didn't you call me? I was already up.
Well, I know, but you'd have to be on for like an hour and a half. I wasn't going to do that to you.
I can handle an hour
Plus,
and a half.
what? I don't want to hang out with you for an hour and a half. That's the other
I
part
think that's what it is, because I'm like, I can handle an hour and a half of you, but you clearly just said, I've just heard it with my own ears, you can't handle an hour and a half with me.
That's what you just heard. That's it. So, yeah, we hope for the best with Brittany, because having a baby up all night, hollering and yowling and all that stuff, that, man, I remember back in the day, whoo, that's hard to handle.
Yeah. When I was in California, I stayed at a friend's house, and he has a 2-year-old at the house, toys everywhere. You know, you walk into the bathtub, and there's like crayon all, and I just thought, there's no way I could ever do this again. There's
Tub
not
toys.
a chance. Yeah.
When you're like climbing over tub toys.
Yeah, no way.
I know this is hard to believe, that Andy was a little hard to handle when he was a baby. Pretty tough to believe, isn't
Yeah.
it? Jesus, Palomino. Are you ever happy, kid? Ever? Does it ever happen? So in any case, sister, Kristyn Burt now joins us, ladies and gentlemen. What's the latest with you?
Ooh, I gotta tell you, the atmosphere in Los Angeles, I've not seen it like this in so long. People are getting nervous that a strike is going to happen with the actors. And I think because we're in week 9 with the writer's strike, people are starting to feel the financial effects of that big time. And when you add an actor's strike on top of it, because that's 165,000 people on top of the writers.
Oh, man.
Yeah. And all of Los Angeles production, all major TV and film productions are 100% shut down in LA. There's nothing running other than daytime shows.
You know what I loved? I've been through this once in my life. Well, actually, once when I was just working in construction, we went on strike. But I worked at a radio station. I wasn't there when they went on strike. It was old WDGY back in the days, 11:30 a.m. It was owned by SKOR Broadcasting. And I know they went on strike one time. But little tip-off for you folks, if you're going to make a huge mistake like getting into radio, don't ever go on strike in radio, because you ain't ever coming back. I can promise you that.
Well, if you are replaceable, you're not coming back.
Saying,
Yeah,
exactly.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Oh, you're on strike? Good. Stay on strike. Good for you.
There's only a few handfuls of people I've ever met in radio that are like, I have asked you guys to do this 1,000 times and you haven't, so I'm not coming to work today. And guess whatever thing they needed to be done was immediately done. There's a lot of people who are like angry at management and go, I'm not coming in today. And management goes, okay, well then don't come in ever again.
Yep.
And we'll see you later.
There you go.
Right.
That is it. I tell you,
Very
Kristyn.
replaceable. But yeah, I haven't seen it like this before, where people are super nervous.
Yeah.
And the other weird thing about this week, obviously we're moving into a holiday week with the 4th of July, but they are doing all of the press junkets, all the interviews for the entire summer. That wraps up on Friday, June 30th. So when you watch a press junket in August, just know that it was done in June. So I'm wondering if some of these interviews are going to feel a little stale by the time that they come out, because sometimes, news changes, things happen, and, the interviewer's asking something, and you're like, well, we knew the answer to this 2 months ago, or in July. we're going to have a little bit of that going on too. So there are literally like 10 press junkets going on this week, which is unheard of, but they're trying to wrap them up because if there is a strike, all of the actors will become unavailable to promote their projects.
I suppose. And then obviously no one in Hollywood's going to cross the picket line, I wouldn't think.
They're not going to cross the picket line. In fact, Kim Kardashian, this is so interesting. American Horror Story.
If you're going to say Kim Kardashian, do me a favor. If you're going to say Kim Kardashian and you're going to use the word horror, please say it horror instead of horror.
American Horror Story.
Horror.
American Horror Story. It depends on where you're from. It must be my regionalism.
No, I just, there's the video is all I'm saying.
That is so long ago.
Oh, so what? Anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Our billions would tell you otherwise.
Yeah,
Tom.
That's very true. Yeah, exactly.
We are not going to sex shame someone.
Well, no, I'm not sex shaming anybody. I'm just saying that anybody, she's an even better example of what a horror most people are in your area.
There's, with Kim Kardashian, there is plenty to criticize, but I think I'll leave her alone on the sex tape because a lot of that was out of her control. So
that was her mother. It was her own mother that did that to her.
Allegedly. Allegedly.
I can't see Toots doing that to my sister. I really can't.
You don't want you don't want Kris Jenner coming after you.
No. No.
Allegedly.
Yes. Allegedly,
Trust
right,
me.
exactly.
Allegedly.
I understand.
But I want to say, so she is acting in American Horror Story.
Still not good.
It's probably one of the few shows that they haven't been able to shut down in New York City. So they're filming, everything in LA is shut down. New York, that is still running. But the writer's strike, they keep calling her out for crossing the picket line. And she put out a tweet last Friday and she's like, here I am on the set of AHS. What are you guys up to? And literally everyone from the writer's strike was like, well, picketing, Kim. Oh, honoring the union, Kim. It is the greatest thread ever. If anyone wants to see it, I have it in my Twitter feed. You will see it, and then you can go and read the comments because they are beautiful. Because she's so rich and so tone deaf and relatively new to the acting world. She's done a few, cameos here and there. But you have to look at this. Like, she doesn't understand, like, how the writers are suffering. We're talking about the average middle class.
Sure,
she's a billionaire.
Sure. Yep.
She has a chef every day cooking for her. And getting an acting role for her is just fun. Oh, it's so cool. I get to act.
Well, that also proves that she has nothing but yes people all around her.
Yeah.
Because if there was somebody who really cared about Kim K's financial and well-being when it came to like how she's being represented, somebody would go, hey, by the way, I don't know if you know this, but back in your hometown, there's a bunch of people striking. And if you put this on social media, you're going to look like a huge dick.
Exactly. That's exactly it. And we literally are at the point, our support industries are all starting to suffer. The dry cleaners, like the diners near the studios, just the caterers, all of those little things. I'm going to an event tonight for Netflix. This is also the end of like events for the summer. Normally we have a whole summer of like pop-up events and exciting things happening. They know that we won't show up. So because the actors won't show up. So if actors don't show up to support their events, the entertainment reporters don't show up to the events. It's a whole trickle down type of situation.
I got to point out right here, because we're talking movies and Hollywood and all that great stuff. One of the reasons why I love Catherine so much, I get home last night and she goes, I found this movie I really, really want to watch. Okay. And I really enjoyed the movie. I thought the movie was absolutely terrific. Jake Gyllenhaal, the movie's called The Covenant. You heard about this movie?
I haven't seen it.
Have you heard about it at all? Either one of you?
Yeah, heard of it, haven't seen it.
It is.
Yeah, exactly.
Jake Gyllenhaal is incredibly good in it. Well, everybody in it is really good. It's a very sad story about guys over in Afghanistan back in the day, and one of the Afghanis wants to come over to the other side because he's sick to death of being treated like dirt in Afghanistan. And the whole movie is about trying to get that Afghan man to America for his own safety. It's really good. It's quite violent. Let me just point that out.
The violence is always what gets me.
Yeah.
Oh, man. But yeah, I had never even heard of it. It just came out. Didn't it just come out about a month ago or something?
Recently, yeah.
Or a couple of weeks ago or something, yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that are really just not registering unless they're the big, as we talked about, the big franchises. And it's kind of sad because we're missing a lot of like everything that's kind of like in between, unless you're discovering them on streaming.
Is Gyllenhaal underrated, do you think?
Oh, that's a good question. I think he's phenomenal in everything that he does. He did a movie during COVID. I'm spacing on the name of it, but he played a 911 dispatcher.
Oh, okay.
Who was helping a woman who was kidnapped. And there's this big twist at the end, and it's basically just him in a room on a telephone for 2 hours, and you are captivated by it.
He's good.
Yeah.
You know what I think? I don't think he's underrated. I think people realize in Hollywood that he's a good actor. He's not a great movie star. And he's kind of a reluctant person when it comes to promotion. I think some of it, and you're going to kill me for mentioning this name, but he had an association with, or a little entanglement with Taylor Swift when she was 19. And then Taylor, they dated. He took her virginity, by the way.
Well, for God's sake.
Jesus.
Taylor Swift wrote about it, and she left her, and see, here's the thing. Taylor Swift left her red scarf at Maggie Gyllenhaal's house. So now the Swiftie fans, who we know are all very passionate, kind of hound Jake Gyllenhaal about like, where's the red scarf, Jake? And like now entertainment reporters are always ask about Taylor Swift. Like he can't escape it. So I think he's become a little bit more of, I don't know, like maybe a little bit more shy about doing press because it's just overwhelming for him in that respect.
I still love that phrase, taking someone's virginity. They kind of gave it up, didn't they? You didn't really have to take it.
Yes. It's such an old-fashioned term.
It really is an old-fashioned term. Do you remember, I don't want to know, but do you remember the first name of the person that you first engaged with?
I do.
So
and
do I.
In fact...
I suppose you would, wouldn't you?
Yeah, no, it was someone, I don't want to like out them, but it's someone I'm still in contact with. They actually work out here in Hollywood and we are still friends, and we often have to work together in terms of publicity and things like that. So.
Oh, I thought you told me it was Elvis.
That would be Priscilla.
That'd be very weird.
She goes, that would be Priscilla.
That would be Priscilla. And, that has brought up, it's so interesting, like looking back on things through a different lens.
Sure.
There's a big discussion lately about actors dating underage people. Oh,
God. Oh, no.
And for a long time, like everyone turned kind of a blind eye to it. Is like, why was it okay to be dating someone 14, 15, 16? Geez. And it happened during the 70s rock era, which is one of the areas, but it's happened even in the early aughts. You take a look at Wilmer Valderrama. He was dating like Lindsay Lohan underage, Mandy Moore underage. And you're like, wait, why were we okay with this?
Yeah, it's weird, especially when you go back and you hear like the songs from the 70s,
Oh, yeah.
Like even Bruce Springsteen, "Hey little girl, is your daddy home?" What?
Yeah.
Why would you say that? Yeah. So then we hear about like Leonardo DiCaprio, but then if you go back and listen to like Don Rickles had a joke. This is like I think maybe like mid '70s. He was on the Tonight Show with Carson, and somebody said, "Are you dating? Or who are you with? Who are you with right now?" Well, it's all the talk. And Rickles went, "Are you kidding me? I'm in show business. My wife isn't even born yet."
That's a great line.
And we were okay with it, yeah.
Well, he delivered a message.
Yeah.
Demi Lovato wrote a song about it, 1729, and it's allegedly about her relationship with Wilmer Valderrama. There's another person I just pulled out that he dated underage. But he's not the only one. It's one of those things. Paul Walker used to date.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, Paul Walker. He used to date women who were under the age of 18.
And then
girls.
God killed him.
They shouldn't even call them women because they're girls still.
God killed him in a car accident. He paid the price. That's all I'm saying.
I don't get the wanting to date young.
I don't either. I don't get it at all.
Listen, when American Pie came out and that guy was getting with Stifler's mom, I'm like, I understand that guy 1,000%. I'm totally into women that are older. Absolutely.
Right.
But as a woman, I don't want to date even a 21-year-old. Do you know what I mean?
Gross.
The conversation right now, I would be banging my head against a wall. It's just you're at a different era.
Mm-hmm.
Well, see, and I've been very honest about this because, look, I don't know if I'm proud of it. I'm not ashamed of it or whatever. But I literally waited till I was 22 years old to have sex because I wasn't about to get anybody pregnant and stay poor the rest of my life.
Yeah.
It just was not going to happen. So I waited till I was 22. So, I think the youngest person I've ever had sex with is like 22, 23 years old. Back in those days, even. So, no interest at all in that kind of danger. That's way too dangerous for me. Right?
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, I think for a lot of people, having like a teen pregnancy, it's cyclical. It really is in certain families.
Yeah, my cousin got pregnant at 14.
Oh, God.
Had the baby at 15. And then, the one nice thing about it is that when she was 36 years old, her son was 21 and out the door. So she's super young. It took a little bit to, get her on her feet. Now she's in her mid-40s and she does very well.
That's
but
good.
those formative years, those late teens, early 20s, I remember her like couch surfing and waiting to get into an apartment that was, attached to a drug house. And that is the one thing that'll trip you up early in age, is having babies before you're ready.
And Uncle Tom
Right,
will
and
give
if you don't have the family support and the financial means, it's really tough. And I think too, like, I think of how I spent my 20s. I was like, I was living in New York City. It was so much fun. I wouldn't trade that for the world, to be honest, or like what I did in New York City in my 20s.
Yeah.
I'm really glad social media wasn't there, to be honest.
Right.
Because that's how good the stories are.
Yeah. I was thinking about that just now, and I haven't thought about this in years, but when I was in junior high school, 3 of my friends, classmates, I don't know if they were all my friends, were involved in pregnancies. They were 16, and the girls were all 16. And I believe the oldest one of them lived to be was like 40. They're all dead.
Wow.
They died very young.
Ugh.
Can you imagine the stress, though, of like, I'm 16, you're 16. Hey, better go get another paper route. I mean, think about
I got
that.
formula to buy.
Yeah, exactly.
Better start delivering the Sunday
I know
paper
you guys were
too.
talking about the cost of living. Think about the cost of living and having to, be a teenager, maybe trying to do high school and, having a job on all this. Because it's, just going and delivering pizzas is not going to pay your rent anymore. That doesn't exist.
No, that's not going to happen anymore at all. But so, yeah, kids, if you're listening, and by kids, I mean everybody under 21 years old.
Yeah.
Just watch
Wrap it up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whoa, I like that. Wrap it up. Absolutely.
Wrap it up.
She was telling you we have to go to break.
Oh, that's what she said. Okay. Well, we'll do that. We'll go to break.
It was a double entendre.
We'll just go, hey, Tom, shut up. How about that? You could do that. We will be right back right after. Good timing, though, actually. I think the whole thing worked out well. I've been telling you for a couple of months now how happy I am at the mnfatloss.com program. It really has been easy. In fact, I've lost 27 pounds. It really just hasn't been that hard either. I eat great food. I don't feel hungry. I have plenty of energy to get out and enjoy this fantastic spring weather we've been having. Like today's going to be a gorgeous day. I'm going to, go into summer looking and feeling great. Right now, mnfatloss.com is offering an exciting summer special, $200 off now through July 30th. But really don't wait, WEIGHT. Don't wait. Get it? Until the whole summer goes by to get this program started. Go to mnfatloss.com for details on the special offer if you want to find out the secret to losing 20, 25, 30 pounds in just 8 weeks like I did. Save $200 on the program. Schedule your free consultation. Save $200. Go to mnfatloss.com. That's mnfatloss.com. Of course, results may vary. And always be sure to tell the team at mnfatloss.com that Tom Barnard sent you.
Do you ever Google yourself? Are you happy with what you find? Or is it cringy? Are you a business owner or on your company's marketing team? How do you feel when you Google your own place? What do you see? A non-updated social media page you don't even remember making? Ads for your competitors? Hubbard Interactive can help. They're a Google Premier partner, so they can use search engine optimization to get your click results higher. They've got a photo and video department to make your business look sharp, plus social media, influencer marketing, podcasting, and more. All the things that will make you a lot happier next time you Google yourself. Here's a Google search that you'll find rewarding. Hubbard Interactive. You can see all the marketing tools they've used on hundreds of successful businesses, including an extensive gallery of the great work they could help your venture with. HubbardInteractive.com. Building campaigns that connect.
Right now, MyPillow has a massive closeout sale happening on their all-season slippers. Listeners continually make My Slippers the #1 selling MyPillow product, and I have a feeling you'll want to stock up now when you hear this offer. When you use my promo code TOM, you'll get the all-season slippers for $25, regularly $149.98. That's over $120 in savings. Limited to 10 pairs at checkout. These will sell out, trust me. My slippers have an exclusive 4-layer design that you won't find in any other slipper. The patented layers make these slippers ultra comfortable and extremely durable. They help relieve stress on your feet, and you can wear them anytime, anywhere. They also come in a ton of additional sizes and all new colors. Just go to MyPillow.com and click on the Radio Podcast Square to grab a pair of the all-season slippers for $25. Regularly priced at $149.98, limited to 10 pairs at checkout. Enter promo code TOM for this incredible offer. These won't last long, so please order now. You're pushy, that's the whole deal. Way to go, Amy. Pushy Amy, that's all I'm saying. By the way, just received a couple of messages from my former friends. They were my friends until today, and they're my former friends now because both of them texted to me, yeah, not like they were lined up before you were 22. Okay, well, thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying, so.
You're like, gee, thanks.
Thanks for all your support.
Oh, man. Isn't it funny when people have no idea what they're... I know they're trying to be funny and stuff, but sometimes that stuff can kind of cut.
Yeah, it could, yes.
Thanks, man. I was doing some work for this Instagram, and she was like an influencer, and she's got a big following, and I was having to film some videos for her, and she was kind of wearing this skimpy little outfit, and as Instagram influencers do, and her boyfriend had shown up to the shoot, and he was like, I just don't feel comfortable with you and then this guy in the room. And she goes, what? It's Rudy. Nobody wants to sleep with him.
See, there you go.
I was like, okay, some people might, maybe.
That's why we work together. Why we all work together, ladies and gentlemen. That's why we work together.
Oh, geez, man.
And what the hell? So, yeah, we talked about The Covenant. That was good. I would recommend it. It's very, very violent. I would warn people. If you don't like violence, don't watch it because it's very violent. Any other new TV shows, movies, any of that kind of stuff that you could tip us off
This
about?
week is pretty light just because we're moving into the holiday week. But I mentioned it yesterday. I'm really excited for people to see it because we are seeing that American Gladiators documentary that comes out tomorrow. It's a docuseries, I should say. HBO has a Rock Hudson documentary coming out. So anyone who's interested in Hollywood history, that will be coming out. And if anyone is not watching season 2 of The Bear, it is, I think Jeremy Allen White probably has locked up his Emmy nomination and possible win. That is how good the second season is. It's even better than the first.
Wow. Tom, did you watch any of the episodes?
I watched the first 2.
Okay. You didn't like it, did you?
No.
Yeah, I could tell.
Yeah, he's like, he is such a good actor. And for anyone who watched Shameless, what did they have, 11 seasons? They went on forever on Showtime. He played Lip, one of the kids in it, and he was always good, but I think because it was an ensemble and you had William H. Macy, you maybe didn't notice how good of an actor he was. This is such a showcase piece, and it's just unbelievable. And it's very rare that I think that a sophomore year of a TV show is even better than the first.
Did he's a chef or something?
Yeah, he's a chef. He comes from a fine dining background. His brother runs a diner. His brother passes away, leaves the diner to him, and they continue to run it. And it's sort of about that experience in Chicago. And for anyone who spent a lot of time in Chicago too, it just really gives you a feel for the city. And also, Shameless was filmed in Chicago, so it really feels like his character Lip never left Chicago.
Yeah, well, maybe it's true.
I'm like, look, Lip's grown up and he's still in Chicago. And my husband and I joke about that all the time, but I'm really impressed with what they've done with this season.
I got to be honest with you, you just made me depressed as hell because I love Chicago and it's just not the same.
I still love the city.
I love Chicago.
You know what? I can eat my way through that city.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
We, my husband did a show at the Broadway Theater. We're going now back to 2012, 2013. He was my boyfriend at the time. And that was a city we just really fell in love. They had put him up this amazing apartment right on State Street.
Okay.
And last year we were going to, my cousins live right smack dab in the middle of the city. And we were like, let's go for our anniversary and just like go back to all of our old haunts and like eat our way through the city for our, anniversary. And he got COVID. So I went anyway because he was fine. He just needed to quarantine. And I went with my mom. And it was very romantic.
One of my favorite stories about eating dinner in Chicago. Went down to Chicago. I was with A+ at the voiceover agency down there. Sharon. I miss you, Sharon. She lives in Atlanta now, unfortunately. But I don't mean unfortunately. She's just not in Chicago anymore and all the rest of it. But I'll show you how honest most people are in Chicago. So I'm down there. I don't remember, just landed some big account. So I was a big shot. And it was back in the days when I used to schweel and, So we had dinner and we left and we were down in the lobby just kind of hanging out, just having a wonderful time, all the rest of it. And the manager of the hotel comes up and he goes, Mr. Barnard, I need to talk to you for a second. I said, oh, did I do something wrong? He goes, well, I don't know if you did it wrong or not, but I wanted to track you down because I think there might have been let's put it down to a misprint. And I said, okay, what happened? He said, you left a $6,000 tip. I went, whoops. Yes, you're right. That was a misprint. And he didn't have to track me down. Sure. Because it was going on my credit card. He could have just cashed it, and that would have been the end of it. But he actually tracked me down to say, "Hey, man, you were having a little bit too much fun. Let's dial her back, shall we, with the $6,000."
Very honest person.
Very honest to God. Yes, that's a very honest person. But that's one of the things I love about Chicago. People. When I went to the National Radio Hall of Fame, we went to Gene and Giorgetti in Chicago. That's where we celebrated. You ever eaten there? On Franklin Street? You ever eaten there?
I haven't, no.
Oh, God. It's an old-fashioned Italian restaurant right in the heart of Chicago. It's like I said, it's on Franklin Street. I just love it. That town is magnificent.
I'm obsessed with Illuminati's Pizza.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like on a daily quest. They're probably so annoyed at me because they are moving outside of Chicago. They have like Arizona. They're really close. Arizona is so close to California.
Yeah.
I'm like, where is your LA? Where's your LA restaurant? And they're probably so sick of me jumping in there talking about like, please open a place here because LA pizza it's like always thin crust and it's okay. It's just not the same as New York pizza, Chicago pizza.
Goat cheese, gross.
Yeah,
I know.
Well, if you want a gourmet, I like a goat cheese pizza when you want something gourmet. But if I just want comfort food, I want a good New York slice, and that's really hard to come by here in Los Angeles. And our water is different, so it doesn't taste the same.
Yeah, because I think one of you brought it up within the last week or so. That most people in Chicago don't eat Chicago-style pizza. They eat the thin crust pizza.
Yeah, too doughy.
It's too doughy. Mm-hmm. It is too doughy. I agree.
Yeah, I don't like the pie, but they do something like, I would say somewhat in between like what we have, because ours are literally like, ours are cauliflower. Come on, let's be honest.
Yeah, right.
We do everything. Gluten-free, vegan, low carb.
Yes. No,
so I don't know. But man, when the second I fly into New York too, I'm like, that's the first thing I head to. I'm like, give me my $2 slice. I'm good.
Yeah, now I'm gonna have to go have pizza today. It's your fault.
I love. I'm gonna have pizza for breakfast probably. To be honest, I eat pizza all the time.
Minnesota has a lot of really good pizza. We got a lot of really good pizza places here. Didn't used to. Well, Broadway was always really good when I was a kid. But yeah, a lot of good pizza. You got a favorite?
Palliai's out of Mankato.
Well, I don't know that one.
Yeah.
It's called what?
It's called Palliai's.
Palliai's?
So P-A-G-L-I-A apostrophe S. Yeah, like Paglia's, but Palliai's is the name. Yeah,
I had like P-A-L-I.
Yeah. No, that's
P-Y-E-S.
I have, so I just bought a new vehicle, and my new vehicle isn't ready yet, but my old vehicle I'm about 1,200 miles away from hitting 200,000.
Holy Hannah.
And I'm like, if I drive to Mankato like 3 or 4 times to get a Palliai's, I'll hit that 200,000 mark. Because I don't want to give up the car until it's 200,000.
I understand
that.
Yeah, I understand it. So what's so good about the pizza? Just the sauce?
I don't know what it is. The dough's amazing.
Okay.
All the ingredients, when you get the cheese bread, when they give it to you, it's almost like an Italian dunker, but they let it sit on the grill just a little too long so you get that burnt edge of cheese. Yeah.
Love it.
In fact, when I worked there, I was 19 years old, and I had delivered a big order to the Mankato Civic Center because Aerosmith was playing there.
Oh, yeah.
And we put out this big order, and we catered the whole thing. And then later on that night, people were coming, because it's right down the street from the Civic Center. People were coming to Palliai's that night saying, "Hey man, Aerosmith was on stage saying thank you to Palliai's Pizza. It's the best
Jesus.
They said they've traveled the world and it's the best pizza they've ever had."
That's wonderful.
Yeah, it's so good.
I've never had it. I haven't been in Mankato now. I bet you, it's got to be 25 years.
It looks so different.
Does it really?
It's exactly. They did it to Mankato exactly what they did to Northeast.
Oh, they did. Okay.
You show up and it's a lot of high rises. It's a lot of everything's modern. It's kind of lost a little bit of its character. Yeah, it doesn't look like it used to. It's still fun, but not what it used to be.
I'm going to have to eat pizza today now. It's both of your fault.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't it sound good though?
I love pizza.
Yeah.
Just
I do
love
too.
it.
I think that's my number one comfort food outside of grilled cheese and fries.
I do not like over the top. We got to put 75 things on the pizza. I don't like that at all.
Yeah.
Hey, let's put
That's
a little
my
broccoli.
husband. He will have 16,000, and I'm like, it's disgusting.
Yeah,
I won't eat it.
No, just a little pizza, little pepperoni works for me.
Yeah.
I love pepperoni. It's phenomenal. Now I'm gonna have to eat pizza maybe for lunch and dinner today. So thank you both. All right, so what a world. Maybe I'll leave right now and go. Can you get pizza for breakfast?
You can. I'm eating pizza for breakfast.
Yeah.
I have leftover pizza in my
Already
fridge, and I'm always like, I don't eat leftovers a lot, but I will eat a leftover pizza.
Okay, I do have to ask you because I'm looking at a review of Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. What do you think?
It's not. No. No, I was just going to say, it's not the best of the lot, but I think that it's fun and nostalgic and kind of like the perfect ending for it. I mean, if you're expecting Raiders of the Lost Ark, you shouldn't go in with that expectation. You've got to remember, we're looking at an 80-year-old Harrison Ford. So, and it sort of like leans into that as well. It leans into the fact that this is like Indy's kind of like last ride. So I think that, his last big mission. And I think if everyone just kind of understands that this is kind of like the bittersweet, like little, icing on the top for this franchise, I think you'll enjoy it. I love Harrison Ford. I got to be honest.
And I think he gets better the older he gets. I really do. I think he's a tremendous actor now.
He's somewhat, you know what? He's probably the Jake Gyllenhaal of his time, kind of underrated, reluctant movie star, never really played into doing the press. The first time he's really leaned into doing the press has been this particular press push for Indiana Jones. And I don't know if it's just like he's at a time in his life where he's kind of like looking back, or he understands like this for the fans is the wrap up of Indiana Jones. But he's been leaning into it. He's been bringing his wife, Callista Flockhart, for the ride. And normally they're very secretive and private about their marriage. And it's been really interesting to watch because he's been a little less curmudgeonly and maybe a little bit more open and warm. And it's been nice to see.
That is a good thing to see. So, I always did like him. Like I told you, I worked with his dad a couple times and I couldn't have been much more than about 18, 19, 20 years old, something like that. Chris Ford was a very nice guy, but he all he ever talked about is how wonderful his son was, and he really hoped his son would have a great career. And now his son's 80 years old and had a magnificent career.
Isn't it crazy though? It's to think that like Harrison Ford is 80 blows my mind.
I couldn't agree more. It's like, what? So I should go see Indiana Jones Dial of Destiny, or should I avoid it?
I think you should go see it. This is a big screen movie. This is not one to sit on your couch and watch. And, I listen, it's because 4th of July is in the middle of the week. A lot of people, I think, are probably taking off maybe the whole week, maybe 4 or 5 days, maybe a long weekend. If you have that rainy day, like go to the theater and enjoy. Like this is what it's designed for. And this is what like summer's all about. If you want a film for the kids, go see Elemental. There are some good movies out there. If you want something quirky and weird, go see Asteroid City. because this is the time to do it, when you sit in a nice cool theater, big tub of popcorn, and that's the magic of cinema. And I think we forget about that. We've really forgotten about it in the last 3 or 4 years. You don't have to go to the movies every single week, but I think like right now there's a couple of things that appeal to a lot of different audiences.
I just love going to the movie. I love going to movie theaters. Always have.
I love going to like the first, like an 11 a.m., the first one of the day when nobody's there, and I can pick my seat, and I know no one will sit around me, and I just sit with the big tub of popcorn and just sit back and relax, especially when it's like really, really hot outside in LA, when it's like 100 degrees.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, I'm going to sit for 2 hours in icy cold air conditioning.
One of my favorite things as a, I guess, late teens, early 20s was going downtown to Minneapolis, because there used to be a lot of great movie theaters downtown Minneapolis. There was the Gopher Theater and the Lyric and the State Theater and all these magnificent theaters. And the one thing, remember the great movie Gene Hackman and Al Pacino, Scarecrow? You remember that movie?
I've never seen it.
No, I know the name, but I don't remember the movie.
Oh, you guys both have to see it. It's really good. Well, I shouldn't say that because that was a long time ago. So comparatively, who knows? But it was a wonderful movie. But the one great thing about going to downtown Minneapolis is somehow one of the doors would get propped open and all the winos would come in to sleep in the theater. You've been through that? Do you remember that?
They used to do it in Hibbing, too. They'd hit that exit door and the people would pile in. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
But my favorite of all time was, and I don't want to give the movie away by tipping you off to what happened, but something happens in the movie, and the guy was 100% wrong, this wino or whatever he was in the back row, but apparently he wakes up just in time to see this scene, and all of a sudden you hear the guy in full voice, he goes, "What are you talking to him for? Can't you see he's dead, you dumb son of a bitch?" Hey, that really added a lot to the movie. Thank you. See, I used to love that stuff.
It's interactive.
It's a very inner city thing, though.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very inner city thing. You're not going to see that in the deep suburbs. You know what I mean? He was screaming at the screen for about 5 minutes. It was
quiet and boring in the suburbs.
I thought it was very, very fun. But so it sounds like there's a lot of great stuff coming up on television and the movie theaters. I love it.
Yeah, and it's just, I think you just have to pick and choose. You look at something like The Flash, and the audience has pretty much said, we don't want to go see it. I mean, Warner Brothers is going to take about a $200 million hit on this film.
God.
Yeah, it dropped 73% in audience just over a week, which is kind of unbelievable. But this is why we're seeing, and just so everyone understands, Warner Brothers owns Discovery, they own HBO. This is why we're seeing like a lot of things change. HBO, the streaming service became Max. They merged Discovery and Max. They're starting, and they just announced this week because they need to start generating more income. They're going to take some of their HBO properties and start selling them to Netflix. So they'll be streaming there. And they're starting off with Issa Rae's Insecure. And I'll be interested to see how this affects HBO, because if you get enough HBO shows on Netflix, do you need your HBO subscription?
Well, so now HBO Max is just Max. Mm-hmm. So are they going to get rid of HBO completely?
No, HBO still exists on cable.
Yeah.
As a cable channel. Max exists as a streaming service, which has been combined with Discovery. So if you look at your Max menu now, there's a lot of unscripted reality shows, nature shows. I mean, a whole bunch of things, home renovation shows that have been included with your unscripted.
Well, I think it's terrific watching TV for $45,000 a month. Those channels are not cheap. No. I will tell you that.
No,
Jesus.
Everybody, back in the day when you cut the cord, you cut your price. But now when you cut the cord, you double it.
At least double it. It's true.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah, and they're all, even though they're charging all these subscriptions, they're still suffering. Even Disney Plus has said they are thinking about starting to sell off some of their properties so that they can go to other streaming networks. And everyone's like, we want it on Netflix. And it's so funny. Everyone tried to fight Netflix, and they're realizing Netflix is too big of a giant to fight. They got in way ahead of the game, and everyone else lagged behind. And this is what the results of all of this.
It makes total sense. So what do you got for the rest of the day, sister?
I I have you.
Oh, that's right. We're going to be talking to Family Podcast. AJ's going to be filling in for Andy today. Andy's got a doctor's appointment.
That's nice.
So
okay.
AJ's a great guy. You know AJ from working here.
I do know AJ.
Great
It'll be
guy.
good to see his face. And then I've got to write a bunch of articles. And then I've got a really fun Netflix event tonight with all of they're doing a pop-up restaurant. So tonight is the press preview. So Netflix now has a restaurant, but what they're doing is utilizing all of their celebrity chefs to create the menu. Tonight, the celebrity chefs will be there. They won't be there when it's open to the general public, but kind of a fun way to experience what you watch on the streaming network and get to eat it in real life.
I don't think I've ever asked you this before, but I'm going to ask you on the way out. Is there one movie or TV show that I should absolutely avoid and never watch?
I never, ever watch. See, you're not going to see, to me, I'm literally the person that I'm like, I can't stand the Game of Thrones, and everyone's going to yell at me because they're like, it's the greatest show ever. I cannot get into Game of Thrones to save my life.
I'm right there with you. I don't get it. I don't like that guy's hat. The guy
That's
who
why you
wrote
don't watch it?
Yeah, exactly. I don't like that hat, so I'm sorry.
Too violent for me.
It's very
violent.
violent.
The storylines are a little too much.
Plus, what the guy with, I tuned it the first time, the only time I've ever watched that. I turn it on, the guy's banging his sister. I'm like, okay, I'm good. Goodbye.
I'm out at incest. Thanks.
Yeah, I'm not into the incest thing. I'll talk to you later. Good talking to you. Yeah. All right, we will talk to you in a couple hours.
I will see you soon.
Thanks a lot, Kristen. Kristyn Burt, ladies and gentlemen. We shall take a break here and be right back in a couple of minutes. Do we have to have Chris Egert on? Oh, damn it, he's not up yet. He can't hear me. I don't want to take a shot at him unless he's up.
Oh, no, he can hear you.
Oh, good. You're a disaster. He's just laughing at me. We do have to take a break, and we'll be right back with the lovely and talented Chris Egert. He just got up and walked out of the room. He's a good man. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to let you know about acoustic wave therapy. Guys, particularly, obviously. Except for, I got to tell you, I'm very honest about this stuff. Catherine has made comments about how this has helped quite a bit by, let me just say, kind of like enhancing things. That's a good way to put it. Guys, I want to let you know about acoustic wave therapy protocol provided by my new sponsor, Twin Cities Premier Health. It's a non-invasive, non-surgical, highly effective, that's right from Catherine, science-based procedure that creates an increase in blood flow and helps create new blood vessels by treating the root cause of most erectile dysfunction, which I didn't have, but I still, the little blue pill thing, it's okay. But this is much better. In fact, acoustic wave therapy is the latest advancement in the treatment of erectile dysfunction. Sound wave energy is also used to help repair old or damaged blood vessels. Like you ever been kicked in the nut? No, that's not what they mean. Damaged blood vessels and stimulate the growth of new blood vessels called neovascularization, which allows for better blood flow. Unlike using a pill to create pharmaceutically induced erection, they treat the root cause of the problem, which is always a wise thing to do. Age-related erectile dysfunction is most commonly caused by a buildup of plaque in the arteries that supply blood to erectile tissue. They get rid of that plaque, and that's the whole shooting match right there. Reach out to Twin Cities Premier Health like I did, and right now receive the special offer, a free treatment and a free consultation when you book today. This is valued at $800. The number, 952-395-4346. That's my unique phone number, 952-395-4346 for their office, or go to TwinCitiesPremierHealth.com and be sure to tell them Tom Barnard sent you.
The new Tom Barnard Morning Show is proud to have partners like North American Banking Company, Bradshaw & Bryant, MyPillow, and attorney and advertiser Dave Bialke.
I've been advertising on Tom Barnard shows for years. I like Tom, not just because he's a good guy, but because the ads I run on his show bring me new clients that are hurt at work and need legal help. Tommy B works for me.
Grow results for your business by partnering with the Tom Barnard Morning Show. Visit TomBarnardShow.com, keyword partner.
This is Tom Barnard for Niemeyer Trailer Sales. They've been a part of Minnesota since 1965, and their name says it all. They are family. If you want to take your passion on the road and make memories camping wherever you want, no motors, but pull trailer RVs, go to Niemeyer Trailer Sales. True story. The very best brands live at Niemeyer's. Like the latest from Rockwood by Forest River, #1 in their class, whether you want a tent trailer, expandable, travel trailer, or a fifth wheel, Niemeyer Trailer Sales has it all. Plus, they deliver on the forgotten art of customer service with personable employees, often sons and daughters of the third-generation family-owned business who simply do what they say they will do every time. Come explore their huge selection and consult with RV service pros. You will leave satisfied no matter what you are looking for. The Niemeyer family welcomes you to visit both of their locations in Albertville and Elko New Market before your next vacation. Head to NIEMEYERS.com and put your passion on the road, Niemeyer Trailer Sales. I've been telling you for a couple of months now how happy I am with the MNFatLoss.com program. Really has been easy and effective. I've lost 27 pounds. It just really hadn't been that hard either. I eat great food. I don't feel hungry. I have plenty of energy and enjoy this fantastic spring weather we're having. And I'm going into summer looking and feeling great. Right now, MNFatLoss.com is offering an exciting summer special, $200 off now through July 30th. But really, don't wait until the whole summer goes by to get this program started. Go to MNFatLoss.com for details on this special offer. If you want to find out the secret to losing 20 to 30 pounds in just 8 weeks, just like I'm doing, and save $200 on the program, schedule your free consultation, save $200, go to MNFatLoss.com. That's MNFatLoss.com. Of course, results may vary, and always be sure to tell the team at MNFatLoss.com that Tom Barnard sent you. We are back, ladies and gentlemen. It's 8:21 now, 21 minutes after 8 o'clock. Brittany is not in today because Gogo was up stirring the pot last night all night. So apparently, and every time I look up, that her picture's up there. Mm-hmm. Every time. Mm-hmm. It's a disaster. That's
and
all
I'm that white slut.
God, she's calling in now,
It's
huh?
like when you hang that picture of Jesus in your house, and
Yes.
every time you walk by it, you like feel guilty, or it brings out. So I put our picture of Jesus. I'm not comparing Brittany to Jesus, by the way.
You should, yes. Yeah.
That, I put it down in the basement so he's not staring at me and judging me, every time I walk by the picture.
You know what? It's so interesting you bring that up because the one time I got in a lot of heat because we were invited to some wedding or whatever, and I don't know. Mm-hmm. I grew up Catholic, so I have a good time with religion, It's great. I don't take it all that seriously, but I don't, piss all over it like some people do either. But we were invited to this wedding, and I didn't know anybody at the wedding. Catherine did. So we walk in the vestibule, and there's this gigantic, and I'm talking about probably 10 feet high, about 10 feet wide picture of Jesus, right? I mean, this picture is huge.
Yeah.
And I look it up, and I go, well, who's that now? People got really pissed off at me. I was like, come on, man, really? A 10 by 10 foot picture of Jesus, and I go, oh, who's that now? And you get mad.
You're like, didn't that dude deliver my Grubhub the other
right.
day? Yeah,
exactly. I loved his robe.
Didn't I buy weed from that guy a couple of weeks ago?
Exactly. Because most hippies looked like Jesus.
Yeah.
That's true. They did back in those days. I don't know. Ladies and gentlemen, the news with Chris Egert is brought to you by Mr. Money Talk Josh Arnold. Call Josh for your free 48-minute financial evaluation. Just had lunch with Josh the other day. Looking forward to having him on the show, as a matter of fact. Good guy. Met him 40 years ago. Apparently, Bo Capral and I were doing stand-up in the front of an airplane. This is back when I used to drink. I think I mentioned this to you guys. But I was having a few, and Bo said, hey, let's go up and do an act. So he and I went up and did comedy in the front of the airplane from Chicago to here. So it was only, thank God, 50 minutes.
A quick set.
But looking back now, that was about 40 years ago. Looking back now, you probably wouldn't get away with that nowadays, I wouldn't think.
No.
Not after 9/11 and all that. It's like, wait a minute. But, great, Josh. Yeah. Great having you on.
Yeah, you get anywhere close to the front of the plane now. And they're all over you, which understandably.
And Catherine, I told you Catherine's story about the duffel bag, didn't I? This is back when we were living in New York. Still, after we had our apartment there. I think there were 2 years left on the lease when I took the job at KQ. So she would come and go, and I would come and go, and we'd once in a while go together. Comes back after the 4th of July. She went out there with her buddy, hanging out, having a great time. Comes back, she's got the full duffel bag. I go, what would you buy, a bunch of clothing? She goes, no, I brought this back for you. Now, this was 1987, 86 or 87, probably 87. I open it up, the entire thing, which she put in the overhead, by the way, the entire duffel bag was filled with fireworks.
No kidding.
Can you imagine getting that on an airplane these days? No, that ain't going to happen.
No.
That's crazy.
I mean, honey, really? one little spark, the whole plane blows up. But other than that, don't worry about it.
Yeah. It's funny when you hear people nowadays be like, "No, I just brought a little bit of weed in my shoe." I'm like, I don't know how you would have the balls to do that.
Yeah.
I'm so afraid to even smell like smoke if I go somewhere. Like,
I know.
How could you ever just walk? Like, no, I just put it in my shoe. They never check. Oh, okay. I don't know. Remember the Whizzinator? That didn't take long.
Oh, the Whizzinator. I remember the
Whizzinator.
Whizzinator, absolutely.
Jeez.
No doubt about it.
I was just reading an article about that a couple weeks ago about, depending on which airport you're flying through, because also each state's got different laws as to whether or not you can possess marijuana.
Yeah.
The TSA is not a state agency, so they got to run things on. So it's a super convoluted, complicated thing now to figure out whether or not you can even carry it on a plane. So
yeah, I mean, I wouldn't openly. I don't know about would you even check it? Like put some geef in your luggage and check it? Probably.
I guess maybe if you're traveling from a state where it's legal to another state where it's legal. But even if there's a layover somewhere in there, I wouldn't feel comfortable with it. But I do put some gummies in my travel bag and put that in my checked luggage. So
there you go.
I don't know.
But I mean, once you're on that airplane, it is no longer legal. Once that airplane gets up in the air, it is not legal because the federal government has not legalized it yet. So I've never known anybody get in trouble over that, though. So I don't think they've gone too far with it. But
yeah.
Who knows? I just probably wouldn't do it for it. Do you think they're ever going to? No, Chris, you'd probably know this better than anybody. Are they ever going to legalize THC nationally since it's now medicinal?
I feel like it's such a hot potato that this is going to be one where they're going to let the states figure out what they want to do.
Yeah.
It's one of those things you can tell the federal government doesn't want to deal with it. So they'd be I think the states have the power on this one, just kind of that's their default answer. But I mean, the flip side of that is just a lot of the states that have decided to legalize it, they know there's money to be made off it. And, if it would have become a federal thing, there'd be a lot of money to be made on it from a bringing in tax money standpoint. But I don't know. And when it's such a complicated thing too, when they're talking about the just money exchange, because technically a bank can't accept it because it's against the federal law. I mean, it's a whole it's a whole really complicated thing. So a lot of those businesses are run with cash, and I saw a piece a couple years ago about, I think it was in Colorado when they legalized, and how these people who are selling it, these businesses who are selling it, had a really hard time just dealing with the money component of it.
Mm-hmm.
So,
do you think, I mean, it's going to be kind of interesting. Rudy and I were talking about this earlier at the very beginning of the show. What are they going to do about this THC medicinal thing when it becomes available in gummies and, up to 2 pounds a pot you can have in the next, that's about 1.5 years away, right? Something like that, I think.
Before anybody's selling it here, probably, yes.
Yeah. But I mean, it's going to drop the price quite a bit, isn't it? Because medicinal marijuana is not cheap.
I would think so, and I would... Go ahead, Rudy.
Yeah, I was going to say, a friend of mine in California, we just talked about this. He said that weed prices are rock bottom right now. There is so much inventory, they have to be able to move it. So, eventually, you're right, because right now, you try to buy, and it is incredibly expensive. Even the THC drinks, I mean, I think they're if you go to a bar, they're $11 a pop.
They're $8 from the grocery store. $8 a pop.
And eventually, when this stuff becomes much more legalized, you'll probably see a drop in price.
I will tell you one thing about those. They're legal, 100% legal. But I will tell you, there's a certain neighborhood that I might live in that the neighbors really like those drinks.
Oh, yeah.
I will tell you that.
Yeah.
Because I got a couple of cases of it sent to the house, and they're fun. The root beer one went over really big.
Yeah.
I will tell you that. So, next time you come over, Chris, you get all high and...
Nah, I got teenage kids. I'm not against it, but I'm trying to.
Yeah.
Somebody gifted me some of it a couple months ago when it was first around, and I gave it to a friend because I don't know. Like my kids see me drink beer, but I'm also like, I mean, I don't know. What's the right move on that?
Well, you're the father, so you make that choice, man.
Yeah.
Well, you made the right choice for your family, which is great.
Mm-hmm.
It's nice to hear. So what's happening in the news? We're just talking about all these different things that.
Yeah.
Here's what's happening in the news this morning. Money, 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 and money. There. Yeah. That's all the news.
So that's usually how it goes, right?
It is indeed. Are there any big stories we should be knowing about?
Oh, there's a huge story out of Richfield last week that we reported on this morning.
Mm-hmm.
A bunch of turkeys attacked a mail carrier.
I saw that this morning on your show.
Isn't that crazy?
Laughing. The guy got hammered by those.
Yeah,
turkeys,
it's not. I mean,
man.
it's not funny. It is funny, but it's not funny. But he got his hands and scratched up and crap.
Yeah.
So
yep.
I've never. I mean, everybody sees them all around in the Twin Cities now. I mean, they're pretty commonplace. I've never found them to be aggressive, but have you guys ever had an encounter with a turkey?
Nope, a goose.
Well, goose they're well known for being.
Man, it was at oh God, what was that? Wasn't it? I don't think it was at Calhoun back in the day, before it was B'nai Makaska or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember which, the Lake Harriet or one. I don't know. It was one of them. But this goose, I don't know what the hell I did, but that goose was so pissed off at me. And they're fast too, by the way.
Yeah,
they can move. Anyway.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd be more. Go ahead, Rudy. What were you going to say?
No, I was going to say the turkey thing. Mike Brody, a friend of show, has a story about getting attacked by a turkey in the Richfield Best Buy parking lot that he tells on stage. And I've had encounters with them in Richfield many a times because they're just, for some reason, it almost feels like I Am Legend. Because all of these animals out of nowhere now you have showing up and just like overrunning the city. Like the amount of deer that I see in St. Louis Park on a weekly basis, they're everywhere now. And turkeys are the same way. And I'm looking at your report on Channel 5, Chris. That's I just was waiting for him to cross my driveway the other day. That's my letter carrier. That's the
no kidding.
Is it really?
Yeah, I live in Richfield. I live right next to Holy Angels. And I'm looking at this and I'm like, oh wait, I just saw that guy yesterday dropping off my mail. Yeah, it's pretty. They're everywhere right now. They are everywhere in Richfield.
Why Richfield, do you think?
Maybe there's like the nature center, which is a lot of foliage, a lot of food for the turkeys. Probably they are. Yeah, it is. Man, wow. I didn't even see this until you just mentioned it, so I'm glad you brought it up.
I saw it this morning. I was getting ready to come to work, and I'm watching you do the turkey story. It's like, whoa. Mm-hmm. Looked like it was a little uncomfortable for that fella.
I know, and I don't know if I had to pick one to be attacked by versus the other. I'd rather be attacked by a goose. I feel like that would be easier to just grab its neck and just frickin' plop, grab it and smash it on the sidewalk. A turkey, I feel like it'd be harder to get to.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is all in my head. I've never obviously attacked a goose.
Yeah. Well, turkeys feel like, in Jurassic Park when the velociraptor flanks?
Yes.
Turkeys, they work together.
Yeah.
There is a flanking. Yeah. They set your attention one way and then somebody attacks you from the side. Where geese, I follow this Instagram account called Kids Getting Hurt. And it's all videos, and not like terribly hurt, but a kid runs into like a glass door at McDonald's or something, just funny stuff. And I can't tell you how many videos where there is a goose-related attack, where a kid goes running and then like ends up going face first into a fence, and it's all geese. It's all the geese. In fact, Madison, Wisconsin had an open goose season not that long ago to get rid of them right in the city.
Sure.
You could just you could put a duck blind up in the middle of a lake and a pond in the middle of the town and just take out geese.
I know that cities have done the deer thing too. I think they did one up in Maple Grove at that Elm Creek Reserve within the last couple of years, where I don't know that they opened it up publicly. I think they might have sold opportunities for people through some kind of raffle system or something.
Yeah,
that was really cool. You brought that up because my friend Kevin Osgard lives up in Maple Grove,
Yeah.
And last week he walked outside. He sent a picture to everybody. There was a fawn sleeping right next to it, up against his house, just laying there sleeping.
Oh, really?
Cute little thing, man. That thing was gorgeous.
I know they're so cute when they're like that, and you're like, yeah. And then I don't know, deer are so, they're cool. Yeah, everybody I know who has like deer in their backyard, they're like posting, look, there's deer in my backyard, and they're posting pictures on Facebook, and like, oh, there's blah 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 blah. Yeah, they're all fine and dandy until you freaking run into one of them.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah, I suppose that's true. Well, in our backyard, we have deer. We have lots of rabbits, lots of turkeys. We got all that stuff going through our backyard.
Any coyotes?
I guess there was one. I didn't see it, but there was one that came through, yes.
We got a few of them in Richfield, too.
Oh, you do?
I'm telling you, man, they are, because when I would leave early for work, like 4 a.m. at the last show, I would see a coyote running down the middle of Portland Avenue right before I got to the crosstown. And 3 days later, you'd see a sign up in that area like, hey, missing dog. And I'm like, I don't know if that dog's coming back. Oh, too many coyotes in the area.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and, of course, Jude would go attack them. I can guarantee you that. Dumb little...
Right.
Oh, well.
We had some coyotes, and we also had a black bear a couple of years ago. So, which is also, I mean, that's not that rare either. Do you guys remember, shoot, this is probably 3 or 4 years ago, a freaking, a cougar got killed right along the 35W 494 interchange.
Wow.
Like, it got run over on one of the ramps, a freaking cougar, like right in the middle of the busiest intersection. And that to me seemed kind of insane, but I don't know. They say the cougars' habitats have spread out a lot more than, they ever were before too. So it seems like the animals are taking over. That's all I'm hearing here.
Well, that's probably a good thing, isn't it?
Get rid of some of these humans.
Exactly.
Yeah. My mom got stalked by one.
Oh.
Yeah. She was walking down her dirt road up in northern Minnesota, and she heard something off into the bushes, and there was a cougar, hunched. You know how they hunch down?
Yeah.
And was walking. So she walked backwards, making noise until she got to her driveway, and then walked backwards all the way up her driveway, and then finally got in the door.
Good move.
Yeah. No, they've definitely moved, because there was a lot out west. Like there was a lot of Montana, Idaho, and now they're definitely starting to move more east.
Yeah, my mom had one in her backyard in South Dakota a couple years ago too, which over on the eastern half of the state, which is pretty much western Minnesota, and that was pretty rare too. Mm-hmm. So they're coming for us.
Yeah, I got to use your South Dakota influence.
Yes,
I think Rudy and I both have to use it.
Okay,
because yesterday on the show, Kent Herbeck announced that he's going to the Black Hills for the 4th of July. He loves the Black Hills.
Yeah.
I love it, too. I love it out there. But he got to do something that apparently you can't do anymore, so you as a South Dakotan have to get off your ass and help us.
Okay.
You ready? He got to stand on George Washington's head.
No
Mount
kidding.
Rushmore. What the hell is that? I'd love to do that. He said, you can't do it anymore. You used to be able to do it, but
back
you
in
can't
the
do it.
day?
Yeah, I guess so. It's not fair.
Yeah, he said that you had to go in before the park opened, but if you knew a guy who knew a guy, he could get you on top of Mount frickin' Rushmore. How insane.
That had to be great.
Yeah.
I mean, was this before he was a well-known superstar, or was this?
No, he was a well-known.
Okay.
God, please don't call my friend a well-known superstar. Now I got to put up with that.
Sorry, I'm frickin' Herbeck fanboy, man.
So am I, actually. So am I.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. What was the movie North by Northwest where they made it seem like you could just run up there and get, which is not that. I mean, that's not true, but I bet that's definitely true if you know a guy who knows a guy that somebody can kind of get you. Although I don't know, that would maybe that was before. I don't know that they would have the thing secured like that up there. I mean, it's a big mountain. How the hell do you secure a whole mountain?
I guess there's a certain way to get up there, then unless you know how to get up there, you can't get up there.
Yeah, he said that they basically went up a rickety ladder. To get to the top of it.
That's what he said. So, a little South Dakota influence, basketball star, brought him to all those championships,
Who was that?
You.
I was not a basketball star. I was Yeah, maybe I'd still have my GD foot if I was a star, but
what do you mean? What, you're blaming your foot loss on basketball?
For sure.
Really?
Yeah, I should have been doing something else.
Would you twist your ankle and then they had to lop it off?
Yeah.
Really?
Chronic ankle problems.
Ow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Unbelievable.
But rest in peace. We move on.
No, we don't move on because it's one of my fondest memories. The first time you ever came into the family podcast and propped your leg up in the corner, my family has loved you ever since. So he just propped his leg up in the corner.
You guys had me on right after it happened.
Yeah.
So that's when that was. So
it was terrific.
That's a couple of years ago. I'm fascinated now with the Herbeck thing getting to the top of Mount Rushmore.
I know. Yeah. We got to do it.
I'm sure there are so many like old logging roads and stuff out there. It does not surprise me that there's a back way up there to get close to it. And
yep, there
perhaps
is.
Do it.
Now we're going to do something though. We'll do a show from the top of George Washington's head, except for Brittany has to go and sit on Lincoln's head on the other side, so her voice will be a normal tone.
Yeah. It's not Mount Rushmore, but I know a guy that can get us to the top of the IDS tower. I'm just saying.
Hey, that's pretty freaking sweet, man.
Just saying. It's no national monument, but it's close,
I take that. Yeah. I like going on the top of the Fauché. I think that's such a cool view.
Yeah.
You remember Mike Rafferty, don't you?
I don't.
Mike Rafferty worked at KQRS back in the day, became an engineer, voiceover engineer.
Oh, yes. Okay, that Mike. Yep,
it's a different,
Mike.
His name is not really Rafferty.
Yeah.
But I don't know if he wants me to tell anybody his name, but it's Mike Rafferty. But he was walking through the Crystal Court at the IDS one day many, many years ago, and all of a sudden he heard this loud noise, and a guy had jumped off the building and went through the roof of the Crystal Court and landed about 20 feet from him.
Yeah.
So you remember that story?
I remember that story because a good friend of the family helped build that, and they were having like a little after it was made. They were having like a anniversary ceremony, or I can't remember what it was, but they were all there, like the 3 or 4 guys that helped engineer that. And then that is when that happened while they were there. Yeah, God. It was awful. And I looked it up not that long ago, like 5 years ago. I looked up the story, and it's amazing that they printed it. Like there was pictures in the paper where you're like,
yeah,
could you not? I don't know. Maybe figure out something else to put in there besides a guy with a sheet over him.
That'd be good. Yeah, apparently he landed literally like 20 feet from Rafferty.
Yeah,
Jesus,
terrible.
That must have been terrifying.
Gosh, I don't remember. Well, first, I don't remember the last time I've been in the Crystal Court. I don't feel like I've been down there I don't think I've been actually in the Crystal Court for like 30 years.
What about Mary Tyler Moore's picture from the balcony?
It's just funny. I never go down. I don't ever really have much of a reason to go to the IDS tower.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't either. We used to go to Sound 80 there back in the day.
Yeah.
Did you ever work at Sound 80?
Sound 80 was before my time.
I suppose that's probably true, yeah. But that was a lot of fun.
Was it a studio?
Yep, Jerry Stenstival was the chief engineer up there. I'd go up there, and it's where I cut most of my Music Land commercials, which is also no longer around, so never mind. Sam Goody, those. Are there even music stores anymore?
Independent. Electric Fetus, you have places like that, yeah. But the Sam Goody, the FYEs, all those are all gone.
They're all gone, baby. The old days, man. Mm-hmm. Oh, my God. You got to go, don't you?
Probably pretty soon.
You mean like 30 seconds from now?
Yeah, well, I'll give you one more story because Rudy, this. How close are you to the airport or the flight line to the airport? Rudy?
Not close.
I am basically right underneath it. Depends on the time of day, but I'm not too far from it.
Apparently, the airport and the FAA are going through a noise study right now, and they're looking for volunteers. So if you're willing to put a microphone in your bedroom while you sleep, and they're going to study the sound, and depending on what they find out, they may do some mitigation for homes that are in the flight path. I know they replaced windows and stuff a number of years ago, but they're trying to find out if more needs to be done. We had that story this morning in the news too. So,
sure.
I mean, it's would it be weird having a microphone in your bedroom?
If you think about it, there already is one.
Yeah,
that's true.
I have it plugged in. Yeah, I have it plugged in right next to my nightstand.
There it is.
And you're right, because if I wake up, if it's early, like around 4 a.m., and there's no traffic on the highway yet on 494, I can definitely hear that first engine of the day kick on over at MSP.
You should do that. It'd probably be pretty interesting.
Yeah.
You know what you should do, though, too, at the very beginning, if they put a microphone in your bedroom, just for the hell of it, just in the middle of the night, go, ooh, that's the spot. And then just...
I mean, I feel like you'd have to do some of that.
You have to, don't you?
You know somebody's listening to it. I think have to.
Yeah, just do.
Like once every 40 minutes, just go, you want to put what where?
There you go. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Right there. No question about it.
Oh, God, the Vikings football team just walked in. Oh, man.
Not bad. All right, Pally, we'll talk to you tomorrow.
All right, you guys, have a good day.
Ladies and gentlemen, Chris Egert, Channel 5, Eyewitness News. We shall take a break and be right back in a couple of minutes. Man, this show is, without Brittany here, the show doesn't drag at all, know. And I look up and there she is again.
Yeah.
Her picture's been up all morning. Unbelievable. Go had a tough time sleeping last night. That's why Brittany's not here today. So what I'm going to do basically is I'm going to go over and plant a little noisemaker in the crib and make noise all night so, Brittany never gets any sleep. It'll be perfect. We'll take a break. Be right back in a couple of minutes, ladies and gentlemen.
This is the Tom Barnard Morning Show.
At Power Lodge in Miller Marine, their 88-degree sale was hot, but if you missed the boat, we'll have you on the lake before sunset with their Hook and Go special. This throttle therapy just got real. Now through the 4th of July, only bring home your own trend-setting Bennington pontoon with savings up to $40,000 off MSRP. Their showroom is waiting with water-ready pontoons and tri-toons, huge Independence Day savings on boat, motor, and trailer packages. Go from floor to shore in the same day with competitive financing options and no money down. Looking for delivery? Just ask their team of experts. They specialize in moving your next party on the water from their place to your place. Over 600 watercraft in stock. Launch into adventure today at Power Lodge in Brainerd, Ramsey and Onamia, and Miller Marine in St. Cloud, the world's largest Bennington dealer. This is Tom saying head to powerlodge.com and get some Hook and Go fun today. Financing available on approved credit, freight, and prep not included in package. There's plenty of thoughts that come into your head when you think the name Killebrew. Of course, there's the Minnesota baseball legend, Harmon, who was responsible for many a favorite memory at the old Met Stadium in Bloomington, and many a baseball that ended up in the stands and in the gloves of adoring fans from his home runs. There's Killebrew Drive, the legendary road that connects Highway 77 to the Mall of America, and a day of shopping you'll never forget. My current thoughts for the name Killebrew is fun floats in our kitchen with my kids and grandkids, a cool, refreshing break in between innings at Target or CHS Field. Or maybe a perfect sunset paired with a sweet, frothy beverage after fishing or on your favorite walleye lake. Killebrew root beer and cream soda. Grab a six-pack at a grocery or convenience store near you. I'm Tom Barnard. This spring and summer, enjoy the one Killebrew root beer and cream soda. Gluten and caffeine-free with a generous portion of delicious thrown in. Killebrew, where memories are created and legends are made. I've been telling you for a couple of months now how happy I am with the mnfatloss.com program. Really has been easy and effective. I've lost 27 pounds. It just really hadn't been that hard either. I eat great food. I don't feel hungry. I have plenty of energy and enjoy this fantastic spring weather we're having. And I'm going into summer looking and feeling great. Right now, mnfatloss.com is offering an exciting summer special, $200 off now through July 30th. But really, don't wait until the whole summer goes by to get this program started. Go to mnfatloss.com for details on this special offer. If you want to find out the secret to losing 20 to 30 pounds in just 8 weeks, just like I'm doing, and save $200 on the program, schedule your free consultation, save $200, go to mnfatloss.com. That's mnfatloss.com. Of course, results may vary, and always be sure to tell the team at mnfatloss.com that Tom Barnard sent you. We are back, ladies and gentlemen. Again, thank you to Josh Arnold for sponsoring Chris Egert. News brought to you by Mr. Money Talk, Josh Arnold. Call Josh for your free 48-minute financial evaluation. Like I said, just had lunch with him last week. Hell of a good guy. Met him 40 years ago. Do you believe that?
Crazy.
On an airplane. And now I'm robbing him blind. Or something like that.
He's teaching you how to rob him blind.
Like, yeah, there you go.
This is me taking money from you. You're too good.
I love it. Works for me. That's all I'm saying. In any case, we're about 10 minutes away from Judd Zolgad coming in, or popping on, I should say, not coming in, but he's going to pop up, and we'll be talking about the Twins losing yet another game to a really good team. The Twins are pretty much a 500 ball club. They just are. I mean, I think they're 40-40 right now. I think they're just not getting any better. They had a nice little run at the very beginning, but they're a very mediocre ball club. I thought they're going to be a lot better than they are, actually. But they can't beat anybody any good, and it's the same people over and over and over again that keep giving up the runs and keep striking out or whatever. It just, they got to make some changes. Why don't they make changes? Explain that to me.
Well, I think sometimes teams are very quick to just go, it's a rebuilding year. We need to rebuild.
Yeah.
And you go, well, you've been rebuilding now for 5 years. You got to figure it out at some point. Stop putting so much stock into how the margaritas taste at Target Field, and let's start figuring out the correct roster to put out there to bring home a championship.
It's time. There are a couple of people. The pitcher last night, same guy, Pagan. He just gets hammered. Whatever. Never mind. Okay, I don't really understand this headline, and maybe you can help me with it because I don't really understand what the hell this means. Do stores like TJ Maxx and Target have a laxative effect? What does that mean?
A laxative effect.
That's what they're saying. All right, we're going to find out what the hell they mean by this. Imagine walking into a TJ Maxx or a Target. What's the first sensation you get? Are you gauging how busy it is? Is it a smell, a sense of excitement? Or maybe it's a strong urge to use the restroom. A TikTok is going viral where a woman walks into a TJ Maxx and suddenly needs to poop. And apparently other people can relate. There are thousands of comments about laxative effect of stores like, so they're saying because they have to poop that it's the store.
Yeah, I don't know if Target has that effect, but Taco Bell does.
Taco Bell would.
I know that.
But that's an after effect, isn't it?
Yes, very much so the after effect.
It's an after effect. Are you gauging how busy it is? Is it a smell? There are thousands of comments about the laxative effect of stores. I was just in Target last week, and I didn't have to even pee, so I don't know what you're talking about. Right?
Yeah. I've never had that issue.
No,
me
either.
No.
About the laxative effect of stores like these, and some employees even say they're aware of it from having to share restrooms with customers. And it isn't just TJ Maxx and Target. People say it includes Ross, Barnes & Noble. Where the hell is there a Barnes & Noble?
There's actually one in Eden Prairie.
Is there? I used to love going to the bookstore, man. Yeah. I loved going to the books. The Borders books over there by Ridgedale and all those. I spent a ton of time in there. It's kind of sad that that's not around any longer. And to be honest with you, Vince Flynn for my birthday one year gave me one of those. What the hell with the reading little computer?
Kindle.
The Kindle. Yeah, there you go. Exactly. He gave me one for my birthday. And I tried it for a long time, but holding a book in my hand I've always loved that.
That is the one thing that's been able to skirt by technology is actual analog books. The only thing nice about a Kindle is being able to read at night in bed without having to have a light on.
Yeah, that's very, very true. That would be very nice, and that's what I did use it for. But damn, I miss Vince Flynn. Yeah, bastard, you died way too young. That's all I'm saying. Just a really, really good guy. No question. I remember one time. Well, he's no longer around, so I guess I can tell it. But he's downtown having dinner, and some guy thought he was a tough guy. I don't know what the hell. Vince walked by, your books, and then the guy got very aggressive and even took a cut at Vince.
Man.
Well, Vince used to go to Washington, D.C. and work out with the CIA. I wasn't there, but my friend Marty was there and said, this guy didn't last too long after he took the first swing.
Yeah.
I mean, Vince was like 6'3", something like that, just muscular as a sumbitch. Why you would go after a guy like him, I don't understand. I'll never understand that.
Nah.
Why do people do that?
It is, usually booze.
Yeah, that's true. It is a booze.
Number one on the list is it's always, and then of course you size somebody up and go, I got that guy.
Yeah.
I can take him. And then it turns out terrible for you.
Let's not size up people that big. How about that? Once at a bar, and I can't say which bar it is. Well, I could say which bar it is. It was not necessary. There was a guy sitting there talking to another guy at At the bar, they're both sitting there on stools, and one guy just keeps chirping at the other guy. I'm going to kick your ass. I've had enough of you, blah, 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 blah. You're messing with dynamite. Guy slaps him across the face, knocks him off the bar stool, and looks down at him and goes, hey, Mr. Dynamite, why don't you blow up?
That's great.
Yeah, the guy had it coming.
Sure.
Smart ass.
Yeah, there's always the guy. I don't know if you ever had that guy in your group that would, every time you guys went out, they had to fight.
Yeah, there were guys like that.
Yeah.
Yes.
My buddy John was like that, and we were at an Oktoberfest, and him and his wife had left the group, and then the next morning, John sent me a picture, and half of his face is decimated.
Oh.
It's all swollen. Oh. And I said, what happened? And he goes, well, I was walking down the street, and I accidentally rubbed elbows with this guy, and the guy said, excuse me, and of course, I'm half in the bag, and I yell at the guy, why don't you watch where you're going? And John's wife starts screaming, kick his ass, John, kick his ass.
God.
And John's like, let's go. And the guy's like, dude, I don't think you want to do this. And he's like, let's do this right now. And the guy's like, all right. And John comes running at him, and the guy hit him one time, completely knocked him out. And then he felt so bad, he helped him get up off the ground. He put him on a park bench. He was like, I told him not to do it.
He did.
So, yeah. So you always have to have that one guy that wants to fight who gets his clock cleaned and then never does it again.
But what about his wife? Why did his wife get off without at least getting kicked in the ass or something?
Because his wife is the worst person on the planet.
Okay,
That's why.
There's an explanation.
She was terrible. I mean, imagine if you and Catherine went out and you accidentally bumped into a guy and Catherine's like, Tom, you go over there and fight that guy. You'd be like, she would never do that. No, because she's a sane human being. That's why.
That's exactly right. I don't know if she married me, so I don't know how sane she is. But, no, that whole deal, go get him. Yeah, really?
No. Why would you do that?
I don't understand that either.
Dum-dums.
Makes no sense to me whatsoever, but what the hell? I suppose it is what it is, ladies and gentlemen, so I don't know. I want to move on from I still don't understand why they would say TJ Maxx and Target has a laxative effect. Why would a store do that?
It's a good question.
That makes no sense.
Yeah, unless, maybe it's, like I know when you walk into a Menards, you walk up to the urinal and they have like the weekly ad. It's like pinned up in the bathroom, so you can kind of see what they have on sale for that week. Maybe that's their angle is we put a little something in the air, makes you go tinkle, and then we can try to sell you on what we got on special.
Well, there you go. So the laxative effect, ladies and gentlemen. It's a good thing this janitor didn't work at a hospital. There's a lab in upstate New York called the Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute. And they're suing a cleaning company because 3 years ago, a janitor who was working there ruined decades' worth of research. The lab had a super cold freeze holding cell cultures, samples, and other research elements. The freezer made a beeping sound. There were signs of explaining that this is normal and how it could be muted, so you could mute the beeping if you wanted to. But the janitor found the beeping to be annoying, so he unplugged the freezer.
Oh.
This is a research freezer that caused the temperature to slowly rise from minus 112 degrees Fahrenheit to minus 25 degrees Fahrenheit. It wiped out 25 years worth of research. Why do people do things? How do you think it's your job to unplug a freezer at a hospital?
Yeah.
How did you ever reconcile that in your own noggin?
Yeah, it must just be like a narcissistic thing.
It has to
where
be.
You go, how dare they annoy me with their beeping?
Unbelievable. In the lawsuit, the lab says that it caused more than $1 million in damage. The cleaning company hasn't commented. Yeah, don't be unplugging things at a hospital, folks.
Yeah.
What do you say?
Yeah, that feels like the one place where, I mean, there's a reason why all the generators and backups that they have in case the power does go out. None of these people that are on, we don't lose organs, we don't lose patients. And just even the fact when you unplug something, like if you unplug a lamp to be able to charge your phone, why can't somebody just re-plug the lamp back in when
plug it in?
You come in and you're trying to turn the light on and nothing, and then you realize, somebody unplugged the lamp to charge their phone and then never plugged the lamp back in. How do we get people to start doing that?
I don't know.
It's impossible.
Yeah, I think it is impossible.
Yeah.
People just don't want to do anything unless they want to do it, they're not going to do it.
Yeah.
It's very, very weird. Like, I don't want to have Judd Zolgad on, but I guess I have to. So, I mean, there's nothing I can do about it. I just keep moving forward.
That's the problem with life, man. You can't control things, right? Like Judd just pops up here, pain in the ass, Twins lose again, and I just won't go away.
I
just
love
the
your
bearer of bad news.
Did you notice I didn't respond to your email last night?
Yeah, I did.
Because I knew they had no chance. I knew they had no chance of beating them. Judd said they're going to beat them tonight. Or how did you word it again?
Oh, let me find it right here. I've got it. I've got that bit of stupidity fresh right here for you, Tom, to just out myself as being a complete moron. So I will. I'll find my message to you,
to Uncle Tommy.
I sarcastically did say watch the Twins win this game, but like they led 1-0, and I thought sure as crap, right? This is the type of game that these guys are gonna, but as you said, ultimately they didn't have a chance.
So I have a question for you, and I generally try to steer away from pointing fingers too directly, but I've had just about enough with the Keplers and the Pagans of the world. They never contribute anything other than getting your ass kicked.
Yeah, well, I mean, Pagan, I don't get. I don't understand why after last year he was brought back. Beyond the ego of the guys that obtained him to think, we can still fix him to justify a trade in which they got Chris Paddock, who had Tommy John. But I don't even understand why he's here as an option. And then, with Kepler, I have no idea. Again, is it because they signed him to an extension and it's ego?
They're losing games for us. That's all I know.
I know.
It's got to stop. Kepler's a good outfielder. He's a pretty good outfielder, but he can't hit worth a damn.
No. And, we all expected he'd get traded in the offseason last winter.
Yeah.
Because it made a ton of sense. And, they just, Tom, they appear to be so stubborn about certain guys.
Yep. I agree.
And it drives me absolutely crazy. And because of this, they continue to basically replicate the same problems, which I think as a fan is the most maddening thing to watch.
It is for me. There's no doubt about it. It's just, look, I understand that it's a different game and that everybody can throw over 100 miles an hour now, which I never thought I'd live to see the day where everybody in the major league can throw over.
It's Nolan Ryan, right?
Nolan Ryan. Everybody's now Nolan Ryan. Jesus. 100 miles an hour. And the other thing, Rudy, do you watch the games on television ever?
Usually not the Twins games. I watch the Brewers games.
Oh, that's right. You're a Brewers fan. Mm-hmm. I cannot believe how fast runners can get to first base now. I mean, they get thrown out by a quarter of an inch every time, for Christ's sake. So eventually they're going to have to move the bases, aren't they?
That's a good question. I think you hit on it. I think the first thing that you said is going to be, and this is probably a little ways off, but I think it's going to be the first thing that gets addressed. I think they're going to move the mound back eventually.
They have to. Yeah. They absolutely
because of what you just said.
Yep. Those two things.
Athletically, this is not the game that we watched for years.
No way. These guys are much better, much faster, everything. Mm-hmm. And like I said, everyone, there's another one, 101. I'm like, what? Everybody can throw 100 miles an hour now.
Well, it's when you see that your other people are capable of it. Mm-hmm. That's why, like when Tony Hawk did the 900, that was the first time it had ever happened. And then 12 hours later, a video from a kid in Germany came out of him doing a 900. And it's like, as long as you can, even what's his name? Penn from Penn and Teller. Remember the magician?
Sure. Yep.
He talked about juggling and how he would, when he was a kid, he'd have to go to juggling shows and watch people juggle and then go home and try to, keep it to memory to learn how to juggle. But now kids just go on YouTube and you can become a world-class juggler in like a month.
Because
it's true. Absolutely, yeah.
The instruction's all there for you. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I guess we're improving as human beings, being able to throw 100, being able to get down to first base and be thrown out by a quarter of an inch.
Sure.
It's amazing to watch. But I'm sorry I didn't respond, but I was just in no mood to respond because I knew there was no chance they're going to win that game.
I thought there was a fighting chance that I would not get a response, so I was not surprised. I think one thing that's changed too, Tom, though, is this. If you go back to the 60s, 70s, 80s, for sure, I think. And go back to the guys that you knew off those Twins teams, for instance. How many of them did hardcore off-season conditioning and improvement?
Right.
Would go to a specialty place in Arizona, like this drive line now, where pitchers go to hone their technique and add pitches. I mean, Blyleven would go home and do God knows what, but it wasn't baseball, I'm sure.
No.
No,
it's very true. I have to ask you guys a question because maybe I'm just being too much of a purist, and I am a huge baseball fan, and no doubt about that. They're wearing me out with the fishing jacket. Why do they do, every time somebody hits a home run now, they run into the dugout and put on a fishing jacket and hat and pretend they're fishing? What is that?
So this is a new baseball-wide thing in the last, probably 5-ish years, okay? If you watch games, almost every team has a celebration of some sort that they replicate after every home run.
Yep.
So the Twins developed it, and a lot of them are at least semi-organic. The Twins developed this one a few weeks into the season because Pablo Lopez, who came in the Arise trade from the Marlins, noticed that a lot of the guys in the clubhouse before games would watch fishing shows. Yeah. So he went out and got the vest and the rod and said, when we hit home runs and 10,000 rakes, it's cute, blah, blah, blah. And so that, but like there's one, there was one a few years back, the Red Sox had one where they would put the guy that hit the home run, he would get in like a laundry basket and ride at the length of the dugout. The Twins had one a few years ago where I think it was Josh Donaldson had bought the entire team really high-priced bathrobes.
Yep,
and so they took one bathrobe and would put it on the guy. So this is like a baseball-wide thing of celebration, I guess.
Why don't we focus on winning? How about that? Instead of putting on a fishing hat, why don't we focus on winning some games?
Oh, we could have a long talk about this. We could have a long talk about this, and I'll tell you this right now. This goes down to the youth. We are now getting into the heart of people, of adults now, who grew up with a completely different mindset than us. Now, they are better athletes than we were. I will give them that.
No doubt.
To your point, they're superior athletes. They work harder, probably, more consistently. They're more specialized. But the whole thing of trophies and what you can say to people now and what the criticism, and I mean, this is probably true in workplace too, right, you guys? It's a completely different ball game, no pun intended. And that's where the whole, focus on what you should do is like, oh, no, you have to have more fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I tell you what, if you were 50 and 30, go ahead and put on your fishing hat. You're 40 and 40, sit down and shut up.
Yeah. The guy who celebrates the touchdown when his team is down 27 points. What are you doing?
Oh, my God. And people get pissed because that drives me crazy. Like when you score a garbage time touchdown or something, it's like, you know what? Just be quiet. Now, if you score the winning touchdown, go for it. I don't give a crap. I remember you guys a couple of years ago, it was a Thursday night game during one of Zimmer's last down seasons, and the Vikings beat the Steelers. And on the key play, Ben Roethlisberger threw it to his tight end in the end zone. He almost caught it. Harrison Smith made a really nice play to break it up.
Right.
But the Vikings had been up by, 14 or something, Tom. And so two of the guys just start going crazy celebrating. And Harrison Smith and another guy were like, let's just get off the field. I mean, we screwed that up. And I love that.
Yep.
I'm like, they get it. These other two guys are dancing around. You stink.
Yeah.
You almost blew the game. Yeah. It drives me crazy. And old man yelling at clouds. I get that. I can be accused of that. But it drives me crazy. Like, have a proper perspective on, hey, if you win a game and now you've won 13 games like last year for the Vikings, awesome. Celebrate it.
Mm-hmm.
But if that was your fifth win and you're in game 14, just sit down and shut up. Get off the field. Be happy you won.
Is that a certain cockiness that a lot of people have now? Is that what it is, you think? I can't figure the whole thing out.
Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe.
I'm glad that the NFL finally started letting players celebrate a little bit because it was getting to be too much. And they brought it back, and they were like, all right, we got to figure out a way to make it fun. So now they have like the camera in the end zone when all the team goes up and they do the group thing, which is great. But then you had guys back in the day like Barry Sanders, who, if he scored the game-winning touchdown or their team was down by 40, he celebrated the same exact way, by not celebrating.
No, one of my favorites of all time.
Yeah, as a teammate, you could go, hey, by the way, you just scored the winning touchdown. Could you smile a little bit? He would just hand the ball back to the referee, and off he'd go.
I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm way too good to celebrate.
Yeah, right? Yeah. Yeah.
And my God, did Barry Sanders kill the Vikings?
Oh,
How many times did he run right? He made them look as dumb as you can possibly look, and it's not because they were terrible. It's because he was just that good. He made so many people look foolish.
Let me ask you both a question. How would you like to be Barry Sanders and be on such a horrible team your whole career? God, that's got to be hard to put up with.
I'd retire just like he did one day.
Yeah,
training
one day.
camp's about to start, and you're still really, really good and fairly young, and you're like, the Lions are a trip to Europe. I'm going to Europe. That's what he did.
He did.
He just basically, I think he at the time, if I'm not mistaken, faxed him.
I think so.
Sending a fax.
Yep, I think that's right.
Walked away.
Chuck Foreman, one of the great running backs of all time, never acknowledged in the front office, really. I don't know. I will never understand what Bud had against Chuck Foreman. I will never understand that.
Well, and Bud also had a big problem with Alan Page, right?
And Alan Page, too, yeah.
Didn't he and Page butt heads about the fact that Page, was a marathon runner, and so he was in great shape, but he was a defensive tackle, and Bud's like, no, you can't be that small. And I still recall, Tom, I was watching Channel 5 one night in about 79 or so. I forget the year exactly, but there was this is pre like cable for me and ESPN. And there was a crawl during a show that said Alan Page has been waived, and he was picked up by the Bears. And it's like, at like 8 or 9, you're like, whoa, hold on a second.
Exactly.
Is that not Alan Page? So,
one of the greats of all time, no doubt about it.
Mm-hmm.
I never got to know him. I never even met him. You ever meet him? Either one of you?
Mm-mm.
Just very briefly at the Vikings.
Yeah, I never did. Decent guy.
Oh, I think so, yeah. And brilliant man, clearly.
Very smart
Judge
guy.
And I think he was. But I mean, the incredible thing about him is, what was it? I think it was 1971. He was as a defensive tackle in 1971, he was the MVP of the league.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yes.
That's like not doable almost. It's incredible. I would have loved to have seen that season, because that's one of the most amazing things, I think, that I've seen, that at that time, that a guy playing in the middle of the country, and I mean, this is also back at the time of the ability to see highlights was what?
Mm-hmm.
At that point, almost nothing, right?
Yes, yep.
So the fact that he was able to capture an award where I'm guessing some people that cast votes for him really didn't see him is one of the most incredible things.
I just don't, I don't know. It was fun growing up, being a Viking fan, except for those 4 Super Bowls. Other than that, it was great.
And now, Tom, they would take the trip. Like if you told them, okay, 2023, the Vikings are going to go to the Super Bowl. There's only like a 10% chance that they will win.
Right.
Everyone in this state now would jump on that in a heartbeat, because they haven't been back. That's the most incredible thing. Like, it never ceases to amaze me that they have, when they lost that last one in, was it January of 77, I believe?
Yes, sir.
If somebody had told you at that time, here's the deal, they've lost 4, but you're not going to have to worry about another one through at least 2023, because they'll never go back, you would have said, you're full of crap.
46 straight years. 46 years since they went to the Super Bowl. And you're right. I was first of all a little boy, and then I was a teenager when they were going to the Super Bowl. I thought they'd be going to the Super Bowl forever, because they did four times out of 10.
Yep. And you probably thought at that time, probably thought, you know what, this sucks. It's tough, but just what you said, they'll be back.
Absolutely.
It might take a year or two, but they'll get their shot. They've never been back.
Nope. They didn't even came close. They never even came close.
Yeah, if there's one reason why you should get on social media, it is to follow Judd. Because,
really?
Yeah, because a lot of times, Judd, I do this, and I do it. I do it because I don't know what I'm talking about, so I just regurgitate whatever Judd says.
Oh, there you go. Good idea.
Because I have no idea what I'm talking
Rudy.
about. But he put up a clip yesterday about who is going to be the next team in Minnesota to win a championship, and I thought your take on it was fascinating.
I want to hear about this.
Yeah.
I said the Vikings, because I actually think in that league, I think that you have an opportunity, first of all, to pop back up pretty quickly. Unfortunately, Tom, to your point, with the Twins, I have no confidence.
Right. I don't either anymore.
Zero.
I did at the beginning of the
Zero.
season, not now. Yep.
They can't hit.
No.
They can't hit. I just don't know. And it doesn't, correct me if you disagree or tell me, but it doesn't feel like I'm seeing something where I say, you know what, they're going to break out of this essentially 3-month slump, or largely parts of 3 months, and start to hit. I don't see it. And so I said the Vikings, because I like the coach. I think that you can build this thing up fairly quickly. And if you get a quarterback to pair, and it might be Kirk, I don't know, but if you get a quarterback to pair with Jefferson with an offensive-minded coach, I think you at least have a chance. The Wolves are the Wolves. I can't pick them.
No.
Sorry.
What a disaster that franchise has been. Never even came close. Since 88? Is that about right?
80. First year was 88, 89,
Yeah,
or
I think
89, 90 in
One
the
of those,
dome.
yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I think it was 89, 90. Yep, it was.
Okay.
It was the first game here, but they've made one playoff run. That's the incredible thing. Again, Minnesota sports is full of these impossible things. Okay, the Vikings. Let's just recount this quickly.
Yep.
The Vikings haven't been to a Super Bowl since January of '77. The Twins have lost North American big league record. So this is not just baseball.
Yep.
18 consecutive playoff games. The Timberwolves have been around since 89, 90 and have one playoff run. And they didn't get to the finals. They just have one playoff run. And to go back to something that you brought up about a month ago or so, we've had a National Hockey League team here in the form of the North Stars are Wild for a good portion of time since 1967. And the state of hockey has 0 Stanley Cups.
State of hockey. That's right.
How is any of this possible? I say this and it makes no sense.
I know. It's like, what the hell? The University of Minnesota won the national championship, football national championship, but that was unfortunately 63 years ago. 63 years, and they haven't even come close again.
No. I'm 53. I will be 54 in November, and they haven't even been back to a Rose Bowl.
No. I don't know. What the hell are we going to do with the team? I mean, obviously, the teams aren't making that great an effort because apparently the fans will just show up anyway. They don't even, it seems to me like they're not even trying anymore.
Well, the Twins fans I think the Twins fans are pretty disgruntled. Like there's some who are still, but I think there's a lot of disgruntled Twins fans. I think that has become not fully, but slightly toxic because there's a level of being pissed off that Falvey's now what? I think he got the job in 2017 or so, and hired Rocco in 2019, and they got off to that great start with Baldelli. I think there's a lot of frustration now that it's
I think
gone backwards.
Yep, it's time to make a move, isn't it?
On Rocco?
Yes.
Don't count on it.
Oh, I know it's not going to happen, but it is.
I got bad news for you. Don't count. It's time to make a move of some sort.
Yes.
That's what I would like. Again, I'm not asking for the world, but to your point at the outset of our conversation, Kepler, Pagan, why are they even options? Don't tempt yourself.
Yep.
See, now you're not worked up.
What time do you have to go?
9:40.
9:40. Okay, I wanted to make sure. We'll be right back in a couple minutes. Take a break here. It's Tommy B for our new advertiser, Niemeyer Trailer Sales. It's been a part of Minnesota since 1965. Oh, look, we were just talking about the Vikings being good. 1965. Since 1965, the name says it all. They are family. If you want to take your passion on the road and make memories camping wherever you want, no motors, but pulled trailer RVs. Go to Niemeyer Trailer Sales. Father Jim Sr. started the business, and now brother and sister team Tim and Lisa handle Albertville with Jim Jr. at the helm in Elko, Newmarket. The best name in non-motorized RVs with great deals on the best brands like Rockwood or Northwood. Niemeyer Trailer Sales truly outservices their competition with personable employees, often sons and daughters of third-generation family-owned business who simply do what they say they will do every time because their names are on the building. And with a huge selection in RV service pros, you will leave satisfied no matter what you're looking for. They take care of every memory maker, customer that comes in their Albertville or Elko Newmarket location. Head to NIEMEYERS.com and put your passion on the road. Niemeyer Trailer Sales. At Power Lodge at Miller Marine, their 88-degree sale was hot, but if you missed the boat, we'll have you on the lake before sunset with their Hook and Go special. This throttle therapy just got real. Now through the 4th of July, only bring home your own trend-setting Bennington pontoon with savings up to $40,000 off MSRP. Their showroom is waiting with water-ready pontoons and tri-toons, huge Independence Day savings on boat, motor, and trailer packages. Go from floor to shore in the same day with competitive financing options and no money down. Looking for delivery? Just ask their team of experts. They specialize in moving your next party on the water from their place to your place. Over 600 watercraft in stock. Launch into adventure today at Power Lodge in Brainerd, Ramsey and Onamia, and Miller Marine in St. Cloud, the world's largest Bennington dealer. This is Tom saying head to powerlodge.com and get some Hook and Go fun today. Financing available on approved credit, freight, and prep not included in packaging. I cannot roll my eyes at Brittany today, except for I'm looking at her picture right now, which has been up there all morning long, for God's sake.
Mm-hmm.
She stayed home. Gogo had a rough night, apparently, kept her awake all night, but I still say sugar tit all the way. You a good mother or not? Show up and make some money. Support your kid.
Kid still sick? Or is mom tired? That's the question.
I think mom's tired.
Yeah, mom's tired, yeah.
Ooh, boy. Okay, we might have a problem.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, kid's still sick, I'll go with that one. But if mom's tired, boy.
Yeah, what a big baby, right? Brittany, the big baby. That's all we're saying.
Roll in there, get the job done, go home, take a nap, Brittany.
I once stirred the pot big time when I was over at the Q, and it was many, many years ago. But one of the women on the show was missing one day. And the whole morning, I just said, I still don't understand why they fired her. I thought she was great to work with, and I had a really good show for 3 hours. And people lit up the phone bank. I'll tell you what, at 9 o'clock, apparently they received a few calls. So I never did that again.
Sure.
But, what are you going to do? Take a joke, folks. Calm down.
Mm-hmm.
You stirred the pot at the Q? I never would have thought that.
Never would have thought that would have ever happened, ladies and gentlemen.
No, I'm really surprised to hear this.
God. Well, whatever. They torn that building down yet? Just kidding. Anyway, going forward, ladies and gentlemen.
From the inside out.
Yeah, from the inside out, it's been torn down. That is a fact right there. Anyway, moving forward. So what else is going on in the sports world, Judd Zolgad?
Once we get past that.
What are they going to do? Show up?
Yeah, right.
Absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
So the hockey draft, the Wild and the NHL is drafting tomorrow, and I love the sport, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I'm sorry, beyond the football draft, and I'm not a huge fan. I like that one. I can't get into sports drafts because for the most part, we have no idea. It's like with the baseball draft, right? We have no clue. Half the time, the teams barely know because the kids are so young.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
It's that dead time. The Wolves did sign, and Phil probably talked about this on the show on Monday, Naz Reid to a 3-year contract extension, or agreed to one a couple of days ago. So that's probably a positive. But we are definitely in that really dead spot where the Vikings, the only time that football essentially is just dead, like nothing occurs, is from the times the offseason camps end to training camp, which is right now.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is short of, some free agency periods in hockey and basketball starting. This is the period where it's basically baseball and not much else.
I will tell you, Phil didn't get much in yesterday because Herbeck was too busy talking about, because we're not going to be on Friday, so Herbeck was on yesterday. And Phil couldn't talk much because Kent was just talking about standing on George Washington's head out at the monument in South Dakota. But
you know, I've always said this, Tom. I told my friend this from the start to be at the time, years and years back. How much fun would it have been in their heyday to be Gaetti and Herbeck together?
Oh God, those and Laudner. Got to throw Laudner in there too because Lauds was their big buddy.
Can you imagine that? Like I think back to in the early 2000s or 2005 or 6 or so where I think Maurer and Morneau for a short time were roommates. And people talked about, but I mean, Joe and Justin, God bless them, probably not the most exciting guys.
Probably not.
No.
Did Herbeck and Gaetti and Lods, did they sleep? Like,
No.
I can only imagine being in New York, Chicago. Man, would that have been fun.
I tell you what, that team, and I'm still friends with a number of those guys. I haven't seen Gary Gaetti in a while, and next time he comes through town, I got to be here because the last time he came to town, I wasn't even in the state. But Laud's still a great friend. Herbeck and I are terrific friends. But Gaetti, I miss him. What a great guy. I loved that guy. Right?
Oh, yeah. He was, and what a great player, too. He was just a fantastic player. The Rat.
Oh, the Rat, absolutely. Did you ever talk to him when he was getting serious?
No, but I've heard the stories, and that's one of the damnedest stories in Twins history of like weird stuff.
Yeah.
So the story I heard, and confirm if this is true, was they made that ill-advised, awful trade. McPhail didn't do a lot wrong, but he screwed this one up. In April of '88, he traded Brunansky to St. Louis for Tommy Herr.
Right, I remember that, yep.
Tommy Herr, supposedly, the legend is he's flying here. He's so upset that he's actually crying on the plane. He didn't want to leave the Cardinals, blah, blah, blah. But the Twins were like, okay, we finally got a long-term guy at second base. But the story I heard was early in Herr's tenure here, the team was in Seattle. And Herr, who was a religious sort, gave Gaetti a pamphlet that said the world is going to end at X time, soon.
Right.
And that the G-Man took it very seriously.
He did.
And changed his life. And of course, I'm sure Herbeck took that well because I wouldn't take that well. But that's the story. Is that true?
It is true. You're 100% right.
God.
100% right. Tommy Herr was an interesting guy, I will tell you that. But Tom Brunansky was even more interesting. Brunansky was not a huge Tommy B fan, I will tell you that.
Really?
Oh, he and I did not get along at all. He couldn't take criticism. I mean, just because I said he sucked, why would you take that to heart?
Hold on a second, though. But he was good friends with the core group of people that you're friends with to
absolutely.
this day.
He was the one guy in that
So
group.
how the hell did that work?
I don't know. He's a weirdo. There's some weird guys in sports. I don't know if you ever noticed that or not.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. But you know what? So in the year or two that Brunansky was the hitting coach for Molitor, I believe.
Yeah,
he was
I think
a
that's
weekly,
right. I think that's right.
For at least a year, he was a weekly guest with Phil and I on the old radio show and couldn't have been nicer. Now that you mention it, though, you know what's funny? We did the show one day. It was on the anniversary of the trade. And so I'm like, let's talk about the trade. And I could tell, and he was nice enough about it, but I could tell, Tom, he did not want to talk about it. His story was, at some point in time, like the winter after the trade, he saw Andy McPhail at like a banquet, went up to him and said, and I quote, "Thanks for ruining my life."
Whoa. There you go.
So this lends credence to what you're saying about the sensitivity issue.
Oh, yeah. I will tell you, one of my favorite nights of my life, this was many, many years ago. This is back when Ocean Air used to be across the street from, 13th and Nicollet. It was over there in the old building.
Isn't it still there? Downtown?
What's
Oh,
that?
maybe not 13th and Nicollet. You're right.
No, it's still downtown,
yeah,
yes.
It just moved.
It's
yeah, okay,
on Nicollet and, 5th?
Yeah,
and
something
5th
like
and
that.
Nicollet.
Yeah, you're
I
right.
think that's
Yep.
But in any case, I go in there, I walk in there, and I hear this, "Tommy B!" really loud. And I look over, and it's Chuck Knobloch's wife about to get a divorce. It's Kirby Puckett's wife about to get a divorce. And who was the third? Oh, it was Paul Molitor's wife about to get a divorce. those three, you gotta have all three of us on. We want to come and rip the shit out of our ex-husbands. We kind of come on your show. What a day that was! I will never forget it. It's like, yeah, I'll tell you what. I'll give you a call. How about that?
Yeah. That could have been if that was now. You would have on your hands, Tom, the greatest baseball reality show in the history.
Oh,
can you imagine?
Oh, now,
three wives about to be divorced. Oh my! Executive producer, and you can go to Florida for good and just do whatever you want because you'd be so rich, you'd be swimming in the money.
True.
Yeah, the real baseball housewives of Minneapolis.
Yes.
Oh my God!
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Oh, I sit down here at the table for a while. We got to tell you some stories. I'm like, boy, I'd love to, but So I sat down for a brief bit, but God, I wonder if they're even still around.
So 1989 is when all dignity went out the window. Is that what you're saying? Because it felt like back in the day, people would be like, yeah, we're getting divorced. Yeah, I wish Sharon the best. And then all of a sudden, people were like, you know what? We can make some money off telling all their dark secrets.
Is that when it was? Was that 89?
I'm not sure. I'm just assuming it must have been around that time.
It probably was. I wouldn't. I don't know.
No, Chuck was in the night. Chuck, if it was Mrs. Knobloch, it was the 90s. It was probably around 93 or so.
Gotcha.
And Puck, Puck's wife was with him when the glaucoma hit.
Which wife?
He woke up.
Wasn't he married a few times?
I thought he was married once and then had a girlfriend when he passed away.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah, could be.
Well, maybe they didn't get a divorce. Maybe she just wanted one.
Well, that's
threatening.
That's entirely possible at the time.
Yeah.
But you brought up one of the most interesting characters that was here in Knobloch.
Yeah.
What
he
a
was
weird dude.
I will tell you, one of my favorite of all time, Johnny Lastman as the Chucker, interviewing everybody at Planet Hollywood out at the Mall of America. And he goes, and you are Chuck Knobloch. And there's this long pause. He goes, Chuck Knobloch. It was phenomenal.
Hey, since we were talking about Gaetti, I hopped onto his Instagram.
Love Gaetti.
And his Instagram, he's got a picture. It's a black and white, and it's from behind, and it's Puckett on the far left, Herbeck in the middle, and then Gaetti on the right.
Yep.
And it says, oh, man, so many great times at Hubert H. Humphrey Metrodome. However, the photo is taken at an outdoor ball field.
But other than that,
it's a great photo.
One of my favorite things about Gary, and Gary Gaetti, I love that guy. He's just a great guy. I haven't seen him in a few years now. Last time he came to town, I wasn't in town. But one of my favorite things is you would ask Gaetti a question, and every time he'd do this. Let me think about this for a second. He put his hand over. It's like, what the hell are you doing, man?
You're not interrogating him.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly.
It's a normal question.
Just that period of my life when the Twins won those World Series, because again, the KQ Morning Show, we predicted they were going to win the World Series that very first year in 1987. As the season started, and they only had, what did they win that year? Like 87 games, something like that, 86.
Incredible at home. That was the thing.
Yeah, that's right. Yes,
incredible. I have said this. In fact, Smalley and I debated this one time.
Roy, I love Roy too. Great guy.
Roy's fantastic.
Great guy.
But I flat out said if you aren't in the Metrodome that year, you do not win the World Series.
I think
now,
you're right. You're right.
91, I think we can debate. Like 91, that was a pretty damn good team.
Yes.
I think that team could have won in an outdoor stadium. But 87, if you think about it, their record at home was ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
They were not good on the road.
That's correct.
And as far as the noise went in the World Series and that playoff against the Tigers, that place was unbelievable.
And both years they had the Nazi symbol right in the middle of the roof of the Metrodome. Remember that? They had the guy pointed out that there was a swastika where they all came together in the middle. It formed a swastika.
I forgot that if I knew that. You're kidding.
Yeah.
So you do remember that, Rudy.
We just looked it up. It was like
we did.
One of the first
oh, that's
things
right,
on the
we
show.
did.
Yeah, we looked it up, yeah.
And you found a picture of it, actually.
Yeah.
Because some guy said, I've had enough of this. I cannot sit in this stadium anymore and look up at that swastika. So they eventually did rearrange it, right?
I believe so.
I believe they did.
Yeah.
You know, there are better symbols to use than a swastika.
Mm-hmm.
It just so happened when all that those seams came together, it formed that right in the middle of the roof.
You're kidding me.
Yeah, not a big fan of the swastika, but the Confederate flag out in left field, that was totally...
That's a whole different kettle of fish right there, ladies and gentlemen.
Ode to NASCAR. That's what that was. The Confederate flag. It was an ode to NASCAR.
Oh, that's still... Oh, remember they had that big deal that we've got to do something about the car racing industry that's so damn racist because they have all these nooses in there, blah, blah, blah. It was to pull the door down, you stupid bastard. It wasn't a
it took them a while to deduct that one.
So you do remember that.
Oh, yeah.
They literally thought they were nooses. Literally.
Yeah.
Like, no. Oh, God, people. And I am getting so tired of that whole deal, by the way. That everything sucks and everything's wrong and America's horrible. Well, then go live somewhere else. You don't like it here. Go to Canada. I like Canada. That's a good spot.
That's why I love sports, because you can say it sucks and be pissed off and debate it, and at the end of the day, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, that is the beauty about it, is that it's all numbers. This guy ran more yards than the other guy. He wins.
Yep.
It's not subjective. That's what I love about that entire industry.
Couldn't agree more. But you know what? Here we are, three guys of different ages talking about sports and the history of sports in Minnesota, and I still love them. They piss me off to no end because they can't win a damn thing anymore. But I still love them all, man.
You
have to, right?
Yeah, you gave up.
I gave up. Yeah, with the second Favre through that interception.
Really?
Yeah, I was a huge Vikings fan, and when Favre threw the interception I'm spacing now, against the Saints, New Orleans Saints. Yeah, I was like, that's it. I'm done. My heart breaks too many times, and then I was going to become like a Raiders fan, or I was going to find a completely different team. Like maybe I'll cheer for Tennessee now, and then it dawned on me: no, if you're going to switch teams, you become a Packers fan. That's
just to piss off the Vikings.
That's how you do it, and that's exactly what I did. Yep.
So you're a Packers fan now?
Yeah, it was like literally watching Hulk Hogan don the NWO shirt for the first time, and people going, "What are you doing?" Yeah,
what a jerk you are.
Yeah, my family hates it.
Wait a second. Why don't we look back at both those teams?Maybe there's one thing they have in common. You as a fan, they suck.
But I was there during the good years for the.
No, Tom, you don't understand.
Well, because the first time, 4 times they went to the Super Bowl, I wasn't alive yet.
Yeah,
and then
that's
after
right.
that, I was born, and then it all went downhill.
You have destroyed sports in the state of Minnesota.
I'm so sorry.
Your fault.
And now Wisconsin.
And now Wisconsin is
Wisconsin.
Yeah. Have you seen the
Bucks?
You're
just moving across the country. Yeah. You're like a serial sports killer.
Great. God. I'm the Ted Bundy of Minnesota sports.
Yeah, of sports.
Ted Bundy. Jesus, now he's killing women out in the parking lot.
Yeah.
Hang down your head, Ted Bundy. That was a big hit on the Q back in the days. You got to go, young buck.
Yes, I do, but I will talk to you tomorrow, correct?
It's not fair that you have to go. Yes, we will talk tomorrow, sir. Thank you.
Outstanding. All right. Take care.
Ladies and gentlemen, Judd Zolgad, SKOR North with us every day. Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Because you look at the Midwest, the Minnesota sports suck, Wisconsin sports suck, Chicago sports suck, and Detroit sports suck. But other than that...
Yeah, at least Detroit's got a few good seasons with the Tigers. They got a couple of good, and obviously they got some Stanley Cups with the Red Wings.
Yep. But that was back a while ago.
That's been a while, yeah. But boy, those Lions years. I mean, the fact that
just terrible.
I mean, they had seasons where they never won a game. You almost have to try to not win.
I know.
Yeah.
The whole thing is just really, really sad. No question about that. But I mean, because you brought it up, really? You haven't won a Super Bowl ever, and you haven't even been to one since 1977.
Yeah.
What the hell is going on? I still watch the games every Sunday, and I don't know why I do, because I know they're no good.
Yeah. I flew into Vegas 2 days after the Vegas Knights won the Stanley Cup, and my Uber driver was like, I'm so glad they won. It's been a long 6 years. I was like, 6 years. That's it, 6 years. Really? Let me tell you about a little place called Minneapolis and our hockey team.
Oh, it's true. And there are some other places that are even worse.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's rather painful. That's all I have to say.
Yeah.
So, do we win any of the? I don't want to call them minor sports, but the lesser-known sports. Do we win any of those now?
Well, the WNBA is our team is back to being garbage again.
Yeah, that's what I hear.
I don't know much about it. I know that they had a great run. I know that one of the WNBA Lynx players had to get a roll of paper towel off the top shelf at Target for me because I was too short.
Well, that was nice.
It's like the most emasculating thing ever. I am literally climbing up the side of it like Spider-Man because I can't reach the top. And all of a sudden, this hand just comes past me, and she grabs the paper towel, and I climb down. And she goes, "Were you trying to get this?" I was like, "Thank you very much." And she had on the whole, and I can't remember her name because I looked her up. But yeah, she had on the whole Lynx jumpsuit. Yeah, and I was like, "Oh, yeah." And she played for the team. She was great. Very funny.
Had the whole deal going. She was, huh?
Yeah,
very nice.
Very nice. Yeah, and I wish my daughter would go to the games because her daycare would take them all the time. And then when the team got, went down the tubes, she hasn't been back. But yeah, they used to go quite a bit.
Right. Mm-hmm. No question about it. I don't know what the hell this means. Don't let Turner Classic Movies slip away. Are Turner Classic Movies going out of business?
I don't know.
Maureen Dowd puts in her plea to save the cable network and its films, a great expander of horizons. I love Turner Classic Movies. You ever watch it?
Big fan.
Yeah, me too.
Mm-hmm.
The Turner Classic Movies channel is currently in turmoil, and what will happen next remains unclear after a house cleaning under David Zaslav, the CEO of parent company Warner Brothers Discovery. Writing for the New York Times, Maureen Dowd makes a plea to save Turner Classic Movies, revealing she was distraught to hear that TCM's future might be in peril. Well, what else are you going to put on there? I mean, that's kind of weird because what would you put on Turner Classic Movie Channel that would be better?
Yeah. Every now and again, I'll turn it on, and I'm like, oh, so I get to watch The Godfather and then Red Dawn?
Yeah.
I'm in.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. It is more than a cable channel, compares it to a public good like libraries or the Smithsonian, not just because she has a nostalgic penchant or penchant. There are still people that say penchant,
Penchant.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. For black and white films, but for the fact that movies serve as a great expander of horizons. That's so funny because my granddaughter is now 7 years old. My grandson is 5 years old. When they were 6 and 4, I was watching a movie. They came downstairs. I was watching a movie. And they both said, "Why don't you turn the color on?"
Oh, yeah.
Because they're like, what is this?
Sure.
They had never seen a black and white movie.
Yeah.
I suppose, why would they, though?
Mm-hmm.
Well, first of all, most of their movies are cartoons anyway.
Yeah.
So they're not going to be. Yeah, I don't remember cartoons sucking when they were black and white, though. They were still good.
They were still pretty good. Steamboat Willie.
Steamboat Willie, yeah.
It was like they were very wholesome right away, just to get people on board. And then all of a sudden, like in the 70s, you had like Bugs Bunny doing blackface.
Oh, God.
And they didn't know that it was not appropriate. I mean, some of the stuff, you go back and watch some of those old Looney Tunes, and you're like, there's no way that would fly today.
No, you're absolutely right about that, particularly Bugs Bunny. I loved Bugs Bunny, that smart-ass rabbit.
Yeah.
Gee, it's kind of a shock that I like the smart-ass rabbit, don't you think? Quite interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So in any case, she writes the network is more than a cable channel, compares it to a public good like libraries or the Smithsonian, not just because she has a nostalgic penchant for black and white films, but for the fact that movies serve as a great expander of horizons. I agree with that. At least they used to.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they do anymore. One that can impart valuable life lessons. I have never had a stylist, interior decorator, life coach, or psychiatrist, she writes. I have used TCM for all of that, and it's gotten me through the bouts of sickness, stress, mourning, and insomnia. Yeah, we got to have a classic movie channel. I would agree with her on that one. I don't spend a ton of time watching it, but I do tune in once. She describes it as, this is a beautiful living history. I think she's right about that.
Yeah, we still have satellite up at the cabin.
Yeah.
And every now and again,
right.
I'll pop through because, Turner's on there. But I'll pop through and you'll catch an old movie from, the 60s or 70s that you have kind of forgotten about. Like I had forgotten about Serpico. Was am I saying that right? Serpico?
Yeah, Serpico, yeah.
Yeah, wasn't that
Al Pacino?
Al Pacino, yeah. I'd forgotten about that movie, and that came on there one day.
Great movie.
And then what I thought was going to be just me 10 minutes sitting down, taking a break from mowing the lawn, turns into 3 hours of watching that.
It is all true, ladies and gentlemen. God, you know what's really funny? And again, I don't have a dog in this fight. I don't like either one of them. But there are certain days when either the president or the former president's doing well, and they got to drag him down and piss all over him.
Sure.
because apparently I have not seen the numbers or anything, but I just saw something pop up on my screen that since all this stuff has gone on with the the classified documents and all that his numbers have actually gone way up, which I didn't know. I don't follow that kind of thing. But there are not one, not two, but on the first page, 3 negative stories about Trump.
Of course.
It's just, I don't care if it's Biden or it's Trump or whatever. If there are good things being said about you, we're going to have to bring you back to earth by ripping the piss out of you.
Yeah.
Look, I mean, a renewed threat from Trump. He knows Fox hates him. I don't know what that means. I thought Fox liked him.
I think as of late, their relationship is a little on the rocks.
Oh, is it really? See, I don't watch Fox, so I don't watch CNN or Fox News. I just can't watch it. First of all, most of the people on both of those channels is an arrogant pain in the ass.
Yeah.
Why would you, as a news person, I will tell you one thing, and I'm very serious about this. Growing up in Minneapolis, St. Paul, we are so lucky because we have had my whole life the best news people I've ever seen. Much better than Chicago and Minneapolis are the two markets that are just fantastic. New York had some of the worst news people when I lived there. I was like, good God, these people are nowhere near as good as the people back in Minneapolis.
Sure.
So maybe that's part of the whole deal. But I try to watch it now, and the stupidity and arrogance of these people is overwhelming. But I suppose they'll toe the line, so that's why they get hired.
Yeah.
I guess. Whatever. I suppose we better take a break. My God, the show's almost over. Brittany, don't just stay home the rest of the time. The show shot by without you, except for now you and I are up there. First time I looked up this morning, she wasn't up there. But Brittany did not get a lot of sleep last night because Gogo did not have a good night sleeping either. That's why she wasn't here today. But we may have to cut the cord. It just went so well without her, you know.
I'm the mayor of Pity City.
I'm the mayor of Pity City. We shall be right back, ladies and gentlemen. Tom Barnard here. Are you ready for some throttle therapy? Cruise the water in luxury on brand new Bennington pontoon. Absolutely. From the Power Lodge, of course. Enjoy sunset from the water. That's one of the things I used to love so much. Entertain the kids and float on the lakes all summer long. It all starts at the Lodge, the Twin Cities' newest Bennington dealer, the Power Lodge, with locations in Brainerd, Onamia, Ramsey, and Miller Marine of St. Cloud, of course. Hundreds of pontoons in stock across all Power Lodge locations. Your summer fun begins at Brainerd's newest Bennington dealer, the Power Lodge. You've heard it before. Brittany wants to be a Klingon if we buy a pontoon. I am going to buy a pontoon. Catherine's still battling me on it. Because I just love it. Because we used to live on a lake. We had a pontoon, but I want to get another pontoon. I really do. I will tell you the easiest way to have a bunch of old friends come out of the woodwork is to own a pickup truck or a pontoon. I became way more popular with my friends and family when I owned a pontoon, and who doesn't want to be popular? Right? Think about that. Enjoy the best days of summer on your favorite lake in a brand new Bennington pontoon from the Twin Cities' newest Bennington dealer, the Power Lodge in Ramsey. Miller Marine in St. Cloud is the largest Bennington dealer in the entire world. That is a fact, and my friends at the Power Lodge brought Miller into the family. Throttle therapy on land and water, powerlodge.com and millermarine.com. And please do tell them that Tommy sent you. You need to know a guy for your auto repairs, legal issues, banking, and more. The same goes for investment advice. You need a guy to help you be successful, someone you can trust, who gets results. Well, I got a guy for you, Josh Arnold. Josh gives you straight talk, not sugar-coated advice about your financial situation. Josh has seen it all when it comes to economic and market conditions, and Josh can make sure that your retirement objectives match your investments. Do yourself a favor and call Josh now for a no-obligation, 48-minute evaluation. You've got nothing to lose, and you'll get a different point of view for your investments. Call Josh at 952-925-5608. That is 952-925-5608. You'll be glad that you did. And tell him his guy, Tom, sent you.
Investment services offered by Josh Arnold Investment Consultant, LLC, a security investment advisor. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. All investments involve risk. All comments and opinions are Josh Arnold's and do not constitute investment advice. Tom Barnard is a paid endorser.
Guys, I want to let you know about acoustic wave therapy protocol provided by my new sponsor, Twin Cities Premier Health. It's a non-invasive, non-surgical, highly effective, science-based procedure that creates an increase in blood flow and helps create new blood vessels by treating the root cause of most erectile dysfunction. Unlike using a pill to create a pharmaceutically induced erection, they treat the root cause of the problem. Age-related erectile dysfunction is most commonly caused by a buildup of plaque in the arteries that supply blood to the erectile tissue. Reach out to Twin Cities Premier Health like I did, and right now receive this special offer, a free treatment and a free consultation when you book today. That is valued at $800. 952-395-4346. That's my unique phone number, 952-395-4346 for their office, or go to TwinCitiesPremierHealth.com, and please be sure to tell them that Tom Barnard sent you. We are back, ladies and gentlemen, 9:54 now, 6 minutes until 10 o'clock, as a matter of fact. Rudy, how are you feeling about yourself today?
About myself?
Yeah.
You want the honest opinion?
Yes.
I had a good friend of mine pass away yesterday.
What? Yesterday?
Yesterday. While I was editing the show, after the family podcast had started, I was out in the lobby, and my sister called and told me that one of our best friends from Wisconsin unexpectedly passed away.
Your age?
And yeah, 43.
Jesus.
And just his wife was upstairs working and heard a thud, and she walked down, and her husband was unresponsive, and they tried CPR. They called the ambulance. They live really in the middle of nowhere, Wisconsin.
Oh, yeah.
And they brought him to because they don't really have like a hospital. So they brought him to a ball field to get a helicopter from La Crosse to be able to take him. And by the time they got him to the ball field, they called off the helicopter and just said, it's not gonna make it. So yeah, it was a pretty rough day yesterday. But so I'm giving you the honest answer. But for the most part, everything else besides that, things are good. I suppose you have a story that is going to knock us down.
I just kind of noticed you. Not that you had an edge or anything. You're just a little bit different today, but actually in a good way. So I'm not saying you were covering anything up, but but you reacted to it well.
Yeah. Well, yesterday, I sobbed on the way home, and then got home, and I had to tell my daughter, because my daughter knew Ricky very well, and I had to tell her. And then as the phone calls were coming in, I was looking at my watch going, I have to go be in front of a client at 2 o'clock.
Yeah.
So you guys have to stop calling so I can dry my face.
Right.
Because if you keep calling me, I'm not going to stop crying, and I have to get through this. So I went and did the client meeting, and then on the way home, just like, just let it all out. So I think, last night I kind of worked a little late on things just so I didn't have to process it until I have to really sit down and face it. And then this morning when I got up, I thought, just get through this morning. Get through this morning with a smile on your face and try to compartmentalize it. And then once you do, then you can let it all out. So you'll probably see me in the fetal position after the show.
Sure.
AJ
Why wouldn't you be?
Yeah, so.
No, the reason I bring that, I brought it up because I said most people probably wouldn't notice that.
No.
There was a little bit of a difference in you this morning. And not in a bad way. I don't mean that at all. It's just that I think because I was around my father for so long that I noticed things like that.
Sure.
There was something a little bit different. And, at 43, that's a tough road to hoe right there, man.
Man, yeah. And having to call your friends in California, and then they don't know what to do because they're going, okay, do I come back to Wisconsin now? Do I stay home? I don't even know the confusion, So yeah, it was a tough day yesterday.
I understand that completely, ladies and gentlemen. It's just one of those deals. So we'll go to some. So far, I don't know what the story is, but it's a ridiculous headline. I don't know what they mean by this. SCOTUS, Supreme Court of the United States of America, delivers good news to black voters in Louisiana. How are black voters different than anybody else?
Yeah.
It's now more likely the state will have to redraw a congressional map to have a second, mostly black district. Why would they do that?
I don't know. Some sort of gerrymandering to...
So that's what it's all about, votes, isn't it? It's not about black people. This is about votes.
Votes, yeah.
So they're not doing anything special for black people. They're just trying to redistrict to get, to basically commandeer the vote.
Sure.
If I were black, that would piss me off to no end.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's delivers good news to black voters. How is that good news to black voters?
Yeah.
Because you've been redistricted. Now, some of you probably are liberal. Some are probably conservative.
Mm-hmm.
To me, and you tell me if I'm wrong, but I think as far as, and obviously nothing will compare to slavery. That's not what I'm talking about. But in our lifetime, in my lifetime, I should say, I have never seen black people being used more than right now.
Yeah.
They're constantly being used to make other people money.
If they wanted to give good news, wouldn't they be like, hey, voters, John Legend is going to be at every single voting booth?
Yeah,
You're like, that's
go.
good news. Thank you.
That's exactly it. So they're going to draw up all these new districts across the United States. It's not just in Louisiana, by the way. It's across the United States. They're redrawing the lines because they all want to control the vote.
Sure.
I mean, the vote barely counts right now anyway.
Yeah.
So we'll see. But I would not care for that. Leave me alone.
Sure.
How about that?
Yeah.
So the districts were wrong before.
Yeah, why? Yeah, if they were wrong for so long, why did you have them this way?
No, I agree.
Shouldn't you have corrected them years ago? But
Yep.
now it's awful.
Once again, it's all about me winning so I can make more money. That's all this stuff. What's with everything, and it's both parties. Unfortunately, it is both parties. But all right, well, hit the road, Jack.
Yeah, great show today.
Sorry
Tom.
to hear about your friend. It was a great
thank
show
you.
today. Well, again, we knew it was going to be great. Brittany wasn't going to be here, so it was going to be much better anyway. But we'll talk to you tomorrow. Thanks.